Hello, it's been a while. Let's talk TV. Hi, my name is Sam, and welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about shows that were canceled after one season. We talk about the characters, the storylines, and where I would want the series to go if I was a writer on a hypothetical second season. Okay, so let me catch you all up on what has happened in the past 6 months since I posted a video. I immediately started working on another one. I watched the show, I took all the notes, I even started recording and editing, but I felt like my heart just wasn't in it the way that it has been with some of the other ones. I was like, Sam, let's that can be for another time. We can go back to that one. Let's find something that my heart is really in. And so that is how we get to today's show. One more thing, just to give a little shout out. Since I posted this last video in June, I've made so many more friends. Hello, new friends. I've met so many new coworkers. Hello, new coworkers. And for all of them, I've said I have a YouTube channel that I post videos on. I just haven't in a while. So to anybody who has met me since this past June, welcome to my YouTube channel that I do post on, I promise. Okay, Sam, you always do such a long introduction. Just start talking about the show. Here's one more sentence before that. I may have mentioned on here that Pushing Daisies is one of my favorite TV shows. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Pushing Daisies, and Lost, I would say, are my top 3 shows. But as you know, Pushing Daisies was canceled after 2 seasons, so I unfortunately will not be talking about that one on this channel, but I will be talking about another show, and I think that there's a lot of fandom overlap. This is Wonderfalls. Wonderfalls is a fantasy comedy series that was released on Fox on March 12th, 2004. It was originally slated to have 13 episodes, but it was canceled in April 2004 with only 4 of the episodes ever airing. Wonderfalls aired immediately after this competition show called Playing It Straight, which was also canceled mid-season without all of the episodes airing. It was replaced by another reality competition show called Forever Eden, which also was canceled with only a third of its episodes ever airing. So that whole mid-spring, there's a lot of canceled one-season TV shows. I haven't done any reality shows on this channel or any competition shows. I've pretty much stuck to fiction, and I think that that's probably what I will do, unless there's a one-season competition show that really grabs my attention. The following November, the rest of the episodes aired on Vision TV, which is a Canadian network, and I had never heard of this prior to researching this video. So Vision TV describes itself as a specialty channel that broadcasts multi-faith, multicultural, and general entertainment programming aimed at the 45 and over demographic. A year later, in 2005, a DVD was released that had all these special features. It talked about the show behind the scenes, and I have it right here. So technically I didn't need to buy the DVD of this because a lot of people have posted the episodes online, but I think that there's something fun about having the physical media, and that's sort of become a new thing for me, collecting one-season TV shows. I have quite a few right now. I might grow the collection over time. Why did I bring up Pushing Daisies earlier? Because this show is also created by Brian Fuller, and that's actually the reason why I had heard of this show, because I was looking at Pushing Daisies. This one just happened to come up as another canceled too soon one, which I've actually gathered that a lot of the Brian Fuller shows were canceled very early. Just a little interesting thing that I noticed. I definitely see some similarities between the two shows. I describe Pushing Daisies as, first, a whimsical show about murder. That's my favorite way of describing it. But also, if you like bright colors, if you like dialogue that feels almost poetic, or something that feels like it's out of a storybook almost. And I definitely see a lot of similarities between that and Wonderfalls. For context, Pushing Daisies came out in 2006, and this show was in 2004. I see a lot of the quick dialogue, a lot of the rhyming names. I'll talk about the rhyming names. It felt like I could definitely see the similarities between the two shows. The main character in both of those shows is very much the grounding presence, while all the other characters around them are way out there. Despite all of the fantasy elements of this show, I do feel like it was more almost grounded in reality than Pushing Daisies. Before I started watching this show, I knew very little about it besides seeing it on those canceled too soon lists. I knew that it took place in the Niagara Falls area, and I knew the main character. I could picture a picture of her, but I knew absolutely nothing about the plot. So if you have not heard of Wonderfalls before, or if you have and you just want a refresher, you want to hear somebody else talk about it, welcome. Let's talk about Wonderfalls. It follows the main character, Jay, and she works at a retail store near the Niagara Falls called Wonderfalls. She starts hearing voices coming from these inanimate animal objects, and all of the episode titles are after all of those animals. And at first, she tries to avoid what they're saying to her. They're giving her these instructions that are kind of mysterious. And so she doesn't want to follow them because she's like, why are you talking to me? And then eventually she realizes that if she follows those instructions or if she disobeys those instructions, it really affects the people in her life. So she decides what she's going to do with that over the course of the series. Jay is the youngest child in the Tyler family. Her family is very overbearing. It's a lot of very big characters in her family. She got a philosophy degree from Brown. She works at the retail store. She describes herself as overeducated and unemployable, which I thought was very funny. Everybody in her family is super successful in their fields, and so some of them kind of feel like Jay isn't reaching her full potential. So remember how I just mentioned that rhyming names is both a thing in Pushing Daisies and also in Wonderfalls? So Jay's family, we have Karen and Darren, her parents, Sharon, her older sister, and Aaron, her brother. Something that I really liked about this, I noticed, I think in the first episode that all of the names rhymed. I think it really represents how she doesn't fit in with the rest of her family. And I just think that's interesting. That's like a little way to say like, hey, this character is different from the others. This character doesn't fit in with the others. Even without any dialogue, even without any explaining outright to the audience, like you just automatically can tell like the character Jay is like doesn't fit in with Karen, Darren, Sharon, and Aaron. Karen is an author, Darren is a doctor, Sharon is an immigration lawyer, and Aaron is a PhD student in comparative religions. Jay always feels really overwhelmed by her family, so that's why she tries to push them away. Other main characters in the show are Eric. We're going to talk about Eric. I don't even know what I can say about the character of Eric before giving you his storyline. Mahandra is Jay's best friend from high school. They've been friends for a long time. And Alec works at Wonderfalls with Jay. Let's start talking about episode 1, Wax Lion. The series begins with Jay telling somebody the myth of the Maiden of the Mist, who is an indigenous woman who was, according to her telling, sacrificed to Niagara Falls and supposedly lives in the waterfall.
And thanks to Princess, Niagara has remained an enchanted wonderland despite hundreds of years of commercial development.
What happened to the chief?
He died.
Why'd the princess live?
'Cause she was hot. You gonna buy the tape?
No.
Then get out. No loitering.
Jay and Alec, who's her coworker, neither of them do a lot of work. They're very much like not involved when all the customers are coming up to them. And a UPS guy named Thomas comes in. He's like here to drop something off, and both of them are like, okay, whatever. He will come back later, so remember him. Gretchen, who went to high school with Jay. Jay is from this area. Her whole family lives here. Gretchen is back for a funeral, and she goes to Wonderfalls to pick up some gifts for her new fiancé. The two of them haven't seen each other since high school, and Jay hated high school and wasn't the biggest fan of Gretchen. So Gretchen is like, oh my gosh, how have you been? And Jay's like, I don't really want to talk to you.
Did you end up overeducated and unemployable like you said in the yearbook?
Yep. Went to Brown, got a philosophy degree. Now I work here.
Really?
They catch up on everything that has happened in their lives since graduation. Jay went to Brown, she got a degree in philosophy, and Gretchen got married and converted to Judaism. Gretchen asks Jay if her parents are happy with the path that she is going on in life, and Jay says, they're happy if I'm happy, to which Gretchen then says, well, are you happy? And Jay doesn't really respond to that. After that conversation, and also after Alec was promoted to assistant manager, not that Jay necessarily wanted it, but the fact that Alec was promoted and she wasn't annoys her, so she goes outside to eat her lunch. And she's sitting under the Maiden of the Mist statue. She starts choking on her sandwich, and she falls to the ground. Somebody dropped a quarter, and it rolls over to her, and she stops choking, and the guy's like, can I have my quarter back? And he's like, actually, no. I'm just like looking at her on the ground. It's like, keep the quarter. So Jay throws it into the fountain. You know how like when you throw things into a fountain to make a wish? But instead of it landing in it, it bounces off the statue and hits her on the head. When she returns into the store, a customer wants a refund on, they had one of those like little wax statue making things. I don't think I've ever seen one of those. I have seen like the flattened penny things that a lot of tourist areas have, but this one was a like, you pay a certain amount and then you get a little wax lion out of it. While editing this video, I went on a trip to Seattle, and you will never guess what I saw in the gift shop for the Space Needle. This wax lion face is, it didn't print right, so she's like, I want a refund. And Jay is like, I don't care about giving you a refund, until the wax lion says to not give her her money back.
Don't give her money back.
And Jay is like, what are you doing? Like this wax lion with only half a face is suddenly talking to her saying, don't give the customer back her money. Jay is really confused about what's happening. So she is like, no, I'm giving her money back. But the lion is like, don't do it. The woman leaves and her purse is immediately stolen, like steps right outside the store. Jay is seeing this like, thing told me not to give her money back. I did. And all of a sudden now her purse is stolen. So she passes out. Jay's family all goes to the trailer that she's living in, and they're talking about how she just had a sode, short for episode. The sode is referenced many times. Jay tells everybody to leave her alone, she's fine. Karen mentions a very handsome paramedic was the one who examined Jay and said that Jay was okay to leave. And Karen asks Sharon if she thought that he was handsome, and she avoids the question.
A very handsome paramedic said he couldn't find anything physically wrong. Didn't you think he was handsome?
Please stop asking me that.
Aaron suggests that maybe Jay's sode was like a mental, emotional thing.
She's not disturbed, she's depressed. And they have pills for that now. Can't you prescribe something?
You don't just start popping pills because you feel a little down. I mean, there are other ways to deal with depression.
Sweetheart, when's the last time you had an orgasm?
That sound you hear is stunned silence.
But she goes to the therapist, and on his desk is a bronze monkey, like a little bookend. And suddenly that starts talking to Jay. She steals the bronze monkey and later goes to a bar that Mahendra works at.
Why'd you steal that monkey? Told me to. Is it gonna tell me to steal something?
I'd be so happy if it did. You have no idea.
There's a new bartender named Eric. He just came to Niagara Falls a couple days ago. Originally, he was here on his honeymoon. His wife cheated on him, and like he walked in on that happening. He is staying here until he figures out what he wants to do next with his life. So he's working at the bar because he was there for multiple days, and eventually the person gave him a job. So basically, that's his story. And he says that he's ready for a rebound, but Jay is like, I don't think you want to get involved with me. Like, things are going on right now. Thomas, the UPS guy, comes back to Wonderfalls the next day. As he leaves, he throws a quarter into the fountain. The wax lion tells Jay, see a penny, pick it up. Goes to the fountain, and she finds the exact quarter that Thomas threw because it was conveniently more shiny than anything else. She picks up the quarter, and when the eagle moves, because she's like watching it and the eagle moves, she throws it. The quarter rolls into this random guy's bag. He picks up the bag, throws it in the trash, and this whole time she's like following what's happening. She's like, I think I'm supposed to be following this quarter. She looks in the trash that the bag is in, and she finds the purse that was previously stolen earlier in the episode. She goes to the woman's apartment to return the purse, and the purse is empty, but she thinks that Jay is the one who stole everything because, well, Jay was rude to her at the store, so she's like, yeah, and you probably stole everything out of my purse. And Jay's like, why would I return this to you if I was the one who stole it? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. The woman fights her, like starts throwing punches, and police end up being called. Sharon wakes up to a call that Jay has been involved with the police, and she goes to pick Jay up, and she's like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're always trying to grab all the attention, and it's never in a good way.
You're 24. Trouble teen is no longer flattering on you.
Nice talking to you.
You better stop. Getting arrested for disorderly conduct? Really, though? And fainting at work? What is that about?
The two of them argue before Sharon drives away, leaving Jay. The next day, Jay tells Mahendra about everything that's happening, and Mahendra says this whole time she's been suppressing the belief that any of this could be real, and what if she, like, embraces it? What if she, like, goes along with it? Jay's mom says that Dr. Ron wants his bronze monkey bookend back, and also while she's talking to Jay about this, she says that a nice-looking man, a UPS guy, is talking to Sharon. He comes in and tells Jay how much he likes Sharon, and the wax lion says, make me a match. So Jay tries to set Sharon and Thomas up. She is going out to dinner with Sharon, really under the guise that it is actually a date between the two of them, and she's setting them up. And when Sharon finds that out, she's really mad. She's sitting at the table with Thomas, and she's like, I'm just, like, not interested in you. He asks her, like, why is she not interested in him? And she tells him that she's a lesbian, but nobody in her family knows, nobody in her life knows, so he cannot say anything to anybody. Jay does overhear this, though. Thomas then has an allergic reaction, and Jay and Sharon have to give, oh my god, what is the word? A trach with a pen. Very Grey's Anatomy.
What was that crap about you being a lesbian? Are you a lesbian? I mean, it's not horribly surprising, but are you?
What do you mean it's not horribly surprising?
You drive an SUV. Is he still breathing?
I don't think so.
Maybe we should trade him.
Do you have a pen?
Ballpoint or fine tip? You want to know?
She would unspool.
Can I tell her?
No!
While they're driving him to the hospital, Jay asks Sharon, like, are you really a lesbian? And Sharon says, please don't tell anybody. Once they're at the hospital, Sharon meets Beth, who's Thomas's ex-wife, and the two of them start flirting and they leave together. But also, so Jay has suddenly been acting different ever since her sewed. She's been looking out for people a little more. It at least outwardly seems like she's being a lot nicer to people. And Sharon asks Jay, like, why have you suddenly changed? She ends up covering the whole thing and is like, well, like, Sharon, I love you. You're my sister.
When's the last time you told your sister you loved her?
I don't know how you did things in your family, but we weren't raised that way.
Jay returns to the statue and she's talking to Eric. And Eric basically says like kind of the opposite of what Mahendra said, that there's no need to surrender to fate. Like, you can still make your own choices. You don't have to just follow things because it seems like that's the direction that you're going in. The episode ends with somebody throwing a penny into the fountain, and Jay sees that, and the little voice tells her that she needs to go help that person.
Hey! Lady! Hey! I think I'm supposed to help you. And by the way, you've got toilet paper on your shoe.
That is episode 1. Okay, let's talk about it. I think that this pilot is really good at setting up the premise of the show. There are inanimate objects. They talk to Jay. She has to make the decision about whether she follows their instructions or not. This thing has changed in her life, and she's starting to think about other people more. She's starting to see how she can be part of other people's lives, like what she can do, like good things that she can do. Even if it's not like at the front of her mind, like that is the direction that the show is going to go in. And so I think that one of the great things about this pilot is that like you know exactly how everything's going to go. It lays out the groundwork. You see that there's going to be a pattern. And I really like that. Like, as I was watching it, I was like, this is a really good pilot. I completely forgot to mention that there is an additional pilot that was made before this one. It's unaired and a slightly different cast. It has Adam Scott and Kerry Washington as Aaron and Mahendra. Those roles were recast with Lee Pace and Tracy Toms for the new pilot and for the rest of the series. Episode 2 is called Pink Flamingos. Darren receives a letter inviting Jay to her high school reunion, her 10-year high school reunion, even though it's only been 6.5.
There's no reason for you to skip your 10-year reunion.
Right, because it's only been 6.5 years. I don't miss any of those people yet, and I don't think that's a problem Don can solve.
In the context of the show, it's supposed to be like, oh, why would anybody do a 7.5-year reunion instead? Now, my high school, originally there was going to be a 5th-year reunion, but then that didn't happen. We had a 7-year reunion. I don't know anyone who, actually, no, let me not say that, because maybe people from my high school watched this video, and maybe you were there. I wasn't. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that I wasn't there. That is basically what Jay is saying here. She's like, why not just wait the couple more years until it's the actual 10-year? Jay is in Darren's car. She's in the front passenger seat. And Darren realizes that the trash barrels are still at the curb, and he's like, okay, I gotta bring these up. Lawn flamingos, the pink flamingos, tell her to get off her ass. And she's like, I'm not listening to you.
Get off your ass. Just get off your ass.
I'm not listening.
When she reaches over in the car, she accidentally hits the gear shift, and the car starts rolling backwards, hitting her dad. In the hospital, everybody's blaming Jay for hitting Darren, and Jay's like, I didn't mean to. Like, I did not mean to do this, but everyone's still blaming her, especially Sharon. Once everybody leaves, Jay says to Darren, like, do you hate me? And he says, like, no, I don't hate you. I understand that carelessness is just, like, part of your character. Which isn't the greatest thing to say. I mean, granted, he was just hit by a car. Okay, so remember Beth? Beth was Thomas's ex, Thomas the UPS guy. Beth and Sharon, at the end of the episode, they're like, okay, I like you, and then they leave. So Beth is driving to the hospital because Sharon's like, I think my dad's dead. And she's like, are you okay? And Sharon's like, yeah, no, he's not dead. He just got hit by a car. While the two of them are talking, Karen sees them and is like, how do you know each other? Like, Sharon, why are you talking to this woman?
Sharon, glad I caught you. I saw this on my way out. It's an inpatient smoking cessation clinic. I thought it could be fun. Hello, I'm Karen Tyler, Sharon's mother.
I don't know her.
I thought you two were talking.
What I said was I didn't know I'd see her here.
How do you know each other?
We carpool. They carpool together.
Carpool. Have you gone green?
I think she's a closet environmentalist.
When Jay arrives at work, Gretchen is there. She just wants Jay to help with the 10-year reunion, the 6-year reunion, but the 10-year reunion.
Surprise! I'm your new manager. Could you imagine? Please, no silly. I'm in town for the 6.5-year reunion. There's just one problem. I've got no one to help. The class officers are all so busy with their careers and families. So naturally, I thought of you.
Mahandra does not like Gretchen. They did not like each other in high school, and she definitely still does not like her now because Gretchen keeps calling her the wrong name, mixing her up with somebody else.
Oh my god. I can't believe you two still hang out. Janet, you look fantastic.
It's Mahandra.
Oh, you changed your name?
No, I didn't.
I changed mine too. It's Mrs. Robert Horowitz now. Robert owns his own escrow company. You'll meet him tomorrow night. He's much more Jewish than I am. Mostly because he was born that way. I'm sort of a Christmas and Easter Jew. So, Jay, how about I put you down for unstacking chairs and tables?
You know those like the big mouth Billy Bass thing that's like on the wall or on the thing and you press it and it sings? So there's one of those on the wall and it tells Jay to get off her ass.
Get off your ass.
What did you say?
Help Gretchen. Get off your ass.
Okay, I'll do it.
Mahandra asks Jay, like, why did you change your mind? You didn't want to go to this reunion. You didn't want to be part of it. You don't like Gretchen, so why did you just change your mind? She was awful to both of them in high school. So why does Jay suddenly want to help her? And Jay is like, the universe is making me do things. So, like, that's why I'm doing it. It is not because I like Gretchen or anything. It's just that I'm just being told I have to. And originally Mahandra wasn't going to go to the reunion either. But then she realizes that this would be a perfect opportunity to take Gretchen down and absolutely ruin her.
I'm going.
What?
I'll go to your little shindig.
You will? Great. Okay, here's the list Gretchen gave me.
Oh no. I've got my own list of things to do. And at the top of it, destroy Gretchen Speck. You may be the universe's butt puppet, but I'm its right-hand fist of fate. And tonight, accounts are coming due.
Sharon brings Darren home and he's like, can you do this? Like, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. So Sharon tells Beth, I need to cancel on the date tonight. And Beth is like, you know what? Maybe call me back when you have less going on in your life. But Sharon is like, no, like, I'm going to make this work. And she crushes up some drowsiness medication and gives that to her father. Sharon tells Beth that, actually, I will be able to make the date after all. You just come here, though. Gretchen invites Jay and Mahandra over for a little reunion pre-party. And she said that just a core group of people are going to be there. That core group is Jay, Mahandra, and Karen, Jay's mom. So Gretchen is showing them like all these photos of her and her husband. She's like, oh my god, I'm so excited to be married. Like, Robert says that he's not going to be able to make the reunion, and Gretchen completely changes. She's like, I don't know why I got my hopes up. I'm so upset that I have to go to this reunion without my husband. And Jay is like, oh, Gretchen, it'll be fine. There's this one line that I genuinely find kind of funny.
Our wedding, very traditional.
Why are those pilgrims carrying you on that folding chair?
Jay, stop teasing. You saw Fiddler.
Gretchen is crying about Robert not coming, and she's wearing this little like rooster pin, and the rooster pin tells Jay to destroy Gretchen.
People don't see me as this pathetic blonde who peaked in high school and is so desperate to recapture her past glory that she moved the 10-year reunion up by 3.5 years. I just figured if I could get my mojo back, recapture some of the old magic, then Robert could see me for who I was. And then he'd love me. Pitiful, huh?
No, it's just... Gretchen, you don't seem all that different.
Really?
Really.
You're just trying to make me feel better.
Is it working?
You're a real friend.
Destroy Gretchen.
How do I look?
Great.
Thanks.
So now Jay has agreed to work on this reunion with Gretchen, and now she's being told that she has to destroy her, which is what Mahandra wanted to do the whole time. But anyway, now Jay's part of it. Jay is like, you know what, I'm with you, I'm gonna help you destroy Gretchen. And Mahandra's like, wait a second, like, actually, I don't want to take it too far. Like hearing it coming from another person. So one of the lines that I also thought was really funny is when Gretchen is coming in and she says, I faced all these people for 4 years without a husband. I can face a couple hours.
I faced these people for 4 long years without a husband. I can certainly go solo for a few hours.
Gretchen also thanks Jay for making her feel better, for being such a great friend. And Jay is like, how am I going to destroy her? Jay tells Eric that she doesn't want to destroy Gretchen, She just feels like she has to, but Gretchen just seems like so pathetic and sad that like she doesn't want to destroy her. And Eric is like, well, why do you have to? Jay decides that what she's going to do is she's going to call Robert and tell him, like, you're making Gretchen really upset by not coming, like, you need to get here. When she's on the phone with Robert, though, he crashes his car, and so Jay is hearing over the phone, and she's like, is he okay? It was very Quinn Fabray. She asks Eric for a drink, anything that can stain a dress, and she spills it on Gretchen, which leaves Gretchen, like, super upset, mad at Jay, and runs to the bathroom. Something that I haven't mentioned yet is that there was this guy who's just been like following them around this whole night at the reunion. And when Gretchen is in the bathroom, he is like, oh my gosh, I've been in love with you this whole time.
I thought if I went deeper into my own spiritual journey through meditation, but I can't shake you from my thoughts.
Wow. You're like obsessed. It's been a long time since someone's been obsessed with me.
What about your husband?
Oh, Robert's not the type. I mean, he's great if I was gonna make a list of things I wanted in a husband. Which I did, actually. Well, Robert is that list.
So he's the man of your dreams.
He's the man of my list.
Do you love him?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Do you love him?
No, I don't. I don't love my husband. Did I ever?
Back in the main part of the reunion, Gretchen, from the microphone on the stage.
There's something I want to say to you before I leave this place. And that's, thank you, Jay Tyler. Thank you for being you.
Is she gonna sing?
It's because of who you are. Because of all the little things that make up the fundamental core of your character. The petty jealousies, the lying, the general negative behavior. Because of all of that, I've learned a little something about myself tonight. I'm bigger than you. And I'll always be bigger.
That also leads her to separate from Robert. At the very end of this episode, Jay's father went back to the hospital, and it turns out that when he was hit by the car, they noticed that he actually had like a deep vein blood clot. They would not have known unless they had him take like the MRIs when he was in the hospital. So Jay hitting him with the car actually may have saved his life. Episode 3 is called Karma Chameleon. Karen, I mentioned before, is an author, and she wrote a book. It was just published, and they're going over the little blurb that's on the dust jacket. It talks very, very positively about Darren, Sharon, and Aaron, and Jay just has 5 words.
Karen Tyler is the award-winning author of several best-selling travel guides. She resides in Niagara Falls, New York, with her husband, noted area physician Dr. Darren Tyler. The Tylers have 3 beautiful grown children. Their eldest daughter, Sharon, is a respected immigration attorney and the newest partner at the law firm of Merrifield, Hansen, and Eldridge. Son Aaron is the youngest non-Asian to win the prestigious Fulton Scholarship for Religious Studies and is currently pursuing his doctorate in comparative religion. Jay, a daughter, is 24. Congratulations, sweetheart.
It just lists that Jay is 24. Everybody says that Jay just hasn't had as many successes in her life as her 2 siblings. And she's like, I did go to Brown. I did graduate from an Ivy League school. As she goes to the bar, she bumps into somebody. Remember the bass that was on the wall in the last episode? It tells Jay to get her words out.
Hey,
Oh, God, no.
get her words out.
Outside the bar, we see that somebody has Jay's wallet, is looking over her ID, and is taking pictures of her, and it's like in the dark, so we can't really see who it is. But who is it? Sarah Drew, Dr. April Kepner.
Are you honestly comparing breaking my promise to Jesus with putting a tiny dent in your family crest?
I'm always so excited when I see actors that I know from something else in other shows. People on Grey's Anatomy, they're on everything, and everybody's on Grey's Anatomy. Sarah Drew, her character, comes into Wonderfalls and gives Jay her wallet. She has a really bad stutter. Little voice saying, get her words out. Jay's trying to figure out like what she's talking about. Jay figures out that her name is Bianca and she's currently unemployed. And also that she's very good at folding things. So Bianca gets a job at Wonderfalls.
Thanks for speaking up for me before.
So, in a way, I kind of helped you by getting your words out.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Jay is responsible for training Bianca and is like, you don't have to do all this. Like, they say that you should do all this stuff, you don't have to. Like, you don't need to put that much energy into it. And so because of that, Bianca now is acting like Jay. But also, not just that. Bianca is really starting to look like Jay, and people are mixing up Bianca and Jay because they think that Bianca is Jay. But all this time, Jay is like, oh, like, she's really cool. Like, let's hang out. Like, me, you, and Mahandra. You're a cool person to hang out with. But then she notices how much Bianca is, like, turning into her, and she's like, actually, this is kind of weird. Darren tells Jay that Karen's book is being republished, so she has an opportunity to change the blurb. If Jay wants a longer part, Sharon and Aaron both gave up 5 words in their part, so now Jay can have 15 words. And that this is a great opportunity for Jay to show the world how one-of-a-kind and unique she is. Meanwhile, over here we have Bianca. She's basically a second Jay at this point.
Morning, Tyler.
Morning.
Morning, sweetheart.
Morning, Dad. I mean, you're not my dad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were my daughter.
That night, Bianca goes to the bar, and everyone's like, okay, this is getting kind of weird. Bianca has also told Jay that she doesn't really have much of a family. She ran away, that's why she's here. Jay is starting to get a little weirded out by Bianca, and so she's like, maybe we can like find her family and get her back to them. Bianca is also very much flirting with Eric.
But I'm sore. I've been sleeping in a van too long. Would you pop my back for me?
Sure.
You do realize he's not a licensed chiropractor. He could very easily paralyze you.
Now, exhale.
Hold it for a sec.
Which makes Jay jealous. Jay is like kind of really mean when she tells Bianca to leave her alone.
You're done playing, whatever your game is.
Is this the girl from Florida? She looks familiar.
Because she's me. Sorry, I was just trying to be your friend.
Well, there are laws against stalking, and my sister, a very successful lawyer, will see to it that your pale imitation of my ass lands in jail. Bye.
In this episode, Bianca's nickname has become Binky. Bianca had told Jay in the past that she was living in a van. She finds the van, this says Binky's on the license plate, and she goes in, and it's just all these pictures of Jay. Pictures of Jay, it's everything about Jay, and she's like, what is going on here? That's when Bianca enters the van and is like, Jay, like, you ruined everything. And Jay's like, what did I ruin? Like, what is going on? And the two of them fight, which then led to what I think might be one of my favorite quotes in the entire series so far.
You may have all my friends snookered, but not me. You're like that girl in that movie who wanted to be that other girl so much that she killed for it. Grease? Single white female!
Bianca says that she was studying Jay and was going to write an article about her because she's writing about disaffected 20-somethings, and she thought that if she could fully embody Jay, then she could like really understand. When Jay asks like, why did you have a stutter before and you don't now, Bianca says that like she stutters a lot when she's nervous and when she's anxious, and so she's gotten like less anxious over the course of the episode. Jay is also like, how did you find me? And Bianca says that she was a freshman at Brown when Jay was a senior. She knew that Jay existed, and then also was just sort of like, oh, like, what is she doing after graduation? Bianca tells Jay that the article was going to be 5,000 words, but now that she knows that Bianca was researching her, like, that ruins everything. Like, the whole concept of the subject not knowing everything, like, that was a part of it. Jay is told by a chameleon this time to get her words out. So she's like, you know what, actually, like, this is good, because then I can, like, really tell you everything. I can be like, this is why I do this is why I do that, so just follow me around again. Jay misses her alarm, so she goes to work, and she sees that Alex, I just realized I completely forgot something. In Bianca's whole, like, having the same attitude as Jay, like not really putting a ton of effort into the customer service part of it, she accidentally shoots Alec in the eye with a toy gun. So that's the whole thing that happened. Jay misses her alarm, so she goes to work late, and Alec is there reading all of Bianca's writing and all that. And he's like, first, you called me names. And second, this is proof that you spent company time not working, so we have to fire you. After she's fired, she goes to her parents' house, and who was there? Bianca.
I got fired.
Oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry.
You don't seem terribly surprised that I got fired.
What's she doing here?
Bianca was there, she says, because she wanted to make sure that Jay's family knew that, like, it wasn't her fault. Like, it was Bianca's fault that she got fired. And so they invite Bianca to stay for dinner. She's telling them how, like, this is the kind of family that she wishes she could have. Like, people like having dinner all together, like, as a family.
I don't really have anyone.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No wonder you ran away.
Jay is like, why does nobody realize that, like, she's after me, basically. Like, she was stalking me. How else did Alec get all the notes? Bianca is really clicking with the Tyler family, and something that I noticed here, so you know how earlier I said that all of the names rhyme, like the rest of Jay's family except for her? In this episode, they're all wearing the same color. They're all wearing this, like, maroon. Bianca's also wearing that color. Jay's the only one who isn't wearing that color. So I think that's also just, like, a little way of saying, like, all these people are really connected. They're basically like a group, and Jay feels like outside of the group. I thought that was very interesting. So whoever did the costume design for right there, good job. Jay eventually starts arguing with Bianca and is like, why are you trying to steal my life? Why are you trying to get my family to like you that much? Like, all that. And especially when Bianca says that she has a crush on a bartender, Jay is like, absolutely not. Jay goes to the bar to talk to Eric, and she's saying that she never should have let Bianca that close to her.
Can't believe I let her get that close.
Yeah, you don't usually do that, do you? Let people get too close.
Depends on the person. I was tricked. Never should have listened to.
You must have seen something in her.
Ironically, I think maybe I saw a little of myself. But that was before she actually became me.
She's not you.
She's not?
No. I mean, she's trying to be you, but can you really blame her?
I mean, my crappy life? Who'd choose that? Hell, who'd even want to read about it?
I would.
You would?
Cute. Jay once again hears that she needs to get her words out. So what she does is she writes an entire article, sends it to Bianca's publisher, but puts Bianca's name on it. The next scene, when I started writing these notes, I wrote, Jay returns to work at Wonderfalls. That's Bianca. Bianca is there at Wonderfalls. And then Jay comes in. Jay tells Bianca that she sent in the article, she put Bianca's name on it, and Bianca's like, why would you do all of the work but not want the credit for it? Like, Jay says that Bianca is now officially the expert of the underachieving Gen Yer, somebody else doing the work for her, but her taking the credit. Bianca quits working at Wonderfalls, and Jay gets her job back.
Whether it is the undertow of contemporary life or something more ancient, life as it has always been, Jen will continue to struggle, to thrash and fight, yet in her most personal, unguarded moments, she will speak of a calm pool, a place where the waters become still and the chaos abates. A place where a father's wisdom, a mother's compassion, a brother's protection, and a sister, 35, all combine to show Jen she is not alone.
Oh, sweetheart. Of course you're not.
I am not 35.
And you're not a lesbian either, but you can't expect her to get every detail exactly perfect.
It doesn't say that.
Well, it was implied.
The prose probably isn't as lovely and crisp, but I finally figured out my 15 words.
Hope it's okay.
Daughter Jay lives in Niagara Falls. Her blurb and life are a work in progress.
And I thought that was cute. Episode 4 is called Wound Up Penguin. And remember, only 4 episodes aired on Fox at first, so this is the last of what was seen for a little bit until it was picked up by the Canadian network. Unrelated to the episode itself, this was the point that I was like, I really like this theme song. And ever since then, I've been like singing it to myself all the time. Oh, I genuinely like this theme song. None of the clips for anything that I used was copyright claimed, except for the theme song, but I really like the theme song, so I may not put this in, but just in case I want to, here we go. We're bobbing along in our barrel. Some of us tip right over the edge. But there's something really mystifying. Got me laughing, now it's got me crying. All my life I will be death-defying till I know. I wonder why the wonder falls. I wonder why the wonder falls on me. I wonder why the wonder falls. With everything I touch and hear and see. Jay is trying to sleep, but all of the animals who have been talking to her this whole time, she cannot get them to stop, so she goes to the bar, where she finds out that Eric has been living. He just hasn't had any other place to stay, and since he was working there, his boss was like, sure, you can stay in the back. The two of them talk about the various changes that they've had in their life recently, with Eric breaking up with Heidi, and Jay with everything that has happened after her sewed.
Weren't you staying in some honeymoon suite somewhere?
Once they figured I wasn't going to sue, they stopped comping my room.
You should absolutely go litigious on their asses. One of their employees ruined your marriage and arguably your life.
Yeah, but if Heidi had stuck with the hospitality basket, we'd both be back in New Jersey right now, starting our married life together. One bad day, and everything changes.
One bad sode, and not only does everything start changing, but everything starts talking to you.
They hear a noise coming from the bar, so they go to investigate, and they find out that somebody has been living in, there's like this giant barrel in the bar, and so she's been like sleeping inside of there. But she runs out before they can find out anything more about her. Eric remembers the woman. She was there at the bar the other night. There's this little penguin that's on the table, and the penguin tells Jay, bring her back.
You think she's a tourist?
Came to Niagara to see the falls and ended up taking a fall.
All it takes is one bad day. Should we call the police?
Nah, just toss her crap and lost and found. Except the cook. We should probably just, bring her back. Bring her back?
Bring her back?
Bring her back. No. Well, I mean, why?
I don't know. It's your idea.
Jay says that they should bring her back because if she's living in a barrel in a bar, then she probably doesn't have a lot. Like, something's probably going on in her life. And Eric agrees that they should go find her, and also says that Jay is like a really kind person for that to be the thing that she thinks of. And Jay's like, it's not because a little penguin just told me to do it. This was also the point in the show that I started like seriously wondering, when is anybody going to believe her about these animals talking to her? Because like at this point we are 4 episodes in, and she has told people, but nobody's taking her seriously. So that's what I'm wondering, like at what point were people going to like really start like listening to her and believing her? But as of right now, that's still not happening. I liked this scene just because there was like a little background detail. They go to the train station and they're asking the people who work there, like, have you seen a woman who looks like this? Like, she would have gone here a couple days ago. Jay and Eric are talking about, does he want to go back to New Jersey? Does he want to go back to his old life? And you hear like in the background, because it's a train station, it's saying like a train to New Jersey.
You miss her?
I don't know.
You gotta miss your life a little.
Guess I'm still trying to figure out where that is. Next.
A custodian hears the two of them asking people, have you seen this woman? And he says, yes, I did see her, and she left with a man that was wearing all black. And they're like, oh, like, is she like in danger or something? Later, when Jay is at work, this man in all black comes in and asks if he can put up a missing person sign. The person on the sign is the woman that they're trying to find. Eric calls the number, and it's to a hotel. They get to the hotel, and they get the room that's right next door, so they're trying to listen through the wall. Eventually, they hear what sounds like some arguing, so they break in, and Eric is like, let go of her. Let her do what she wants.
Leave me alone!
She said leave her alone. Now how's about you listen?
Don't hurt him, he's a priest!
You're a priest?
Father Schofield.
You're going to hell.
That's when they realize that this woman is a nun, and she has run away from the convent, and he's trying to get her back. So very much not what the two of them were thinking that they were about to break up. The woman's name is Christina, Sister Christina, now going by just Christina. Jay and Eric try to figure out why she left the convent, and because everybody was nice to her, like she was having a good time, but she says that she left because of the cheese.
Did the mean nuns pick on you?
No, nobody picked on me. It was a sisterhood. We all took the same vows. I loved the convent.
If you were so happy with the sisters in the field, why'd you leave?
The cheese. The cheese was my undoing. This is the miracle of life melted over these chili fries. The microorganisms in this cheese tell me God exists. This sack of meat that holds a soul tells me God exists. God himself, however, hasn't told me anything.
Something that I've realized, actually no, I've only seen 2 Brian Fuller shows, but the way that religion is discussed on these shows is always very interesting. I'm going to need to have my friend who watches Hannibal, I'm going to have to ask her, be like, what does Hannibal say about religion? Jay, because she's been having these animals talking to her, she's like, you probably don't want God to be like talking like so directly to you. Did I say her name was Christina? It is Katrina. Katrina tells Jay that like doubt is worse than anything else, and that is the problem that she's having right now. Remember earlier when I said that Aaron is getting his PhD in comparative religions? Jay has Aaron talk to Katrina to try to like bring her back to the church, but he's just like not really helping the situation.
Just because the scripture says God's talking doesn't mean he's talking. People tend to take license with that detail. It's not always going to be, hello, Jay.
Stop that.
Although several prominent serial killers claim that God gave them very specific instructions.
This isn't helping anymore.
Why'd you go to the serial killer place?
The rest of Jay's family is also hearing about this, and they meet Katrina, and they're like,
is this about your sode? Are you seeking counsel in the church?
No. Yes. Yes, it's about my sode and my stress issue. But thanks to God, I'm better every day, so you don't have to worry.
That's wonderful, darling. You are aware nuns are Catholic.
It's Wednesday. We Presbyterians have Bible study on Wednesdays.
Your mother and I are tickled to death that you've turned to the Lord for guidance, sweetheart. We just think it should be our Lord.
Katrina goes to Jay's trailer, and Jay tells her that, like, these little animals, they're talking to me, and they're telling me to do stuff. I don't know if that's God, I don't know what it is, and Katrina is like, that sounds like the devil. Like, the devil is speaking to you. Eric has a very different opinion from Jay here, and I think that I know, it's mirroring the things that are going on in his life, being told by many things that he should be going back to New Jersey. He wanted to leave, so people needed to let him. Katrina also wants to leave, so from his perspective, everyone should let her leave. Maybe if he heard the penguin, he would think differently.
Bring her back!
Katrina is telling Jay that all the little animals, they're the devil speaking to her. In this moment, the wax lion tells Jay to break the taillight.
Break the tail light.
It's telling me to break a tail light, which is vandalism, which is the devil's work, which is why one little exorcism isn't too much to ask. This is where I would most like to be right now, standing in the freezing cold, being called a liar by a nun and coerced by a wax lion to commit crime. This is so much fun. Great. What just happened?
Something is up with Jay's car because it once again starts rolling. So now Katrina is like, we need to get an exorcism. Katrina prepares Jay for this exorcism. She ties her up. She threatens to cut the demon out of her. And meanwhile, the priest gets pulled over for having a broken taillight. The police go to Jay's trailer and they see Katrina holding the knife. Katrina and Jay are both brought to the police station where Katrina says, like, she thought that God was speaking through her.
To understand, I would never hurt anyone. I thought God was guiding me.
Although several prominent serial killers claim that God gave them very specific instructions.
At the police station, Jay runs into the priest and she's like, I won't press charges or anything. Like, I can just let this go. But when they ran his name, like when he had the broken taillight, he found out that he has a daughter that he had no idea about. This was like mentioned over the course of the episode that he had had relationships prior to him joining the church, but now we find out that he had a kid this whole time that he didn't know about. Remember at the beginning when Jay was told, bring her back, and then later bring her back to him? Katrina sees this and tells Jay that a miracle happened because of her, and she brought a family together. We're seeing the animals tell Jay to do things, and the way that it changes throughout the course of the episode I think is really cool. At this point, I'm very much liking the show. And also, like, what a sweet ending that was for that being the last episode that aired so far. But there is more than 4 episodes, so next up we have episode 5.
Hi, Editing Sam here. So I recorded the review for this episode on December 22nd, 2025. It's now late January 2026. The following episode involves immigration policies in the United States, and the agency referenced in this episode is what eventually evolved into ICE. I have not hidden my opinions on any of my other videos, and that's not stopping here. ICE has no place in our communities and should be abolished, and the people directly and indirectly hurt by their actions deserve justice. If you are in the United States, I strongly encourage you to look up resources and ways that you can protect and support immigrant communities in your area.
Before I start talking about episode 5, I'm going to take a brief pause right here to talk about what the process has been for making this video compared to some of my other ones. In my attempt to get my brain back into the headspace of making these videos, what I've been doing is I've been watching some of the episodes, writing about them, filming about them, editing them while I'm watching the other ones. When I recorded this episode and episode 6, part of my microphone died, so now I have to re-record them, and I actually think that that's really good. After watching episode 7, I think that it informed character choices in episodes 5 and 6. Let me just say it outright. Darren and Sharon confirmed Republicans. I think that that is an important thing to say prior to this episode at least, and this episode is about immigration. So I think that that's one of the reasons why episodes 5 and 6 I wasn't as huge of a fan of, and I was trying to figure out exactly why, because I was like, there isn't anything necessarily different about these episodes as there were with other ones. But my brain is viewing this in a very 2025 lens rather than 2004. Just seeing how certain things are represented in comedies specifically in the early 2000s compared to now. So that being said, episode 5 is called Crime Dog. I did really like the style of this episode. It starts at the end of the story and then it goes back to the start, which is something that I love. in shows. When I did the video on fakes earlier this year, almost a year ago actually, because I did not post a lot this year, that was one of those shows where it starts at the end and then you see all the way back to the beginning, how did they get to that point? And I really like that style of storytelling. So this episode starts with Sharon being interrogated by police about Jay.
Your sister, you ever do anything like this before?
This is her 4th arrest. 3 prior for disorderly conduct.
I see she likes to hit people.
She's scrappy.
These scrappy types commonly keep people in their trunks.
I wrote in my comments here, it's truly always something with Jay's car. And that's gonna continue. It's always something with Jay's car. While that's happening, Jay is outside. She's trying to figure out what people are saying and why won't anybody talk to her. A bulldog cardboard cutout is like, I'll talk to you. But Jay's getting really tired of these animals talking to her. Eventually, Jay starts talking to one of the officers and the officer yells at her, is trying to intimidate her, and she asks Jay when the last time was that she saw her family's housekeeper before she was in Jay's car. We then flash back to 18 hours before the arrest. Jay is offered a pancake by Yvette, the family's housekeeper. Originally, Jay says no, I don't want a pancake, but then a little cow creamer thing says to take the pancake.
I can't.
Always in such a rush. Never stay more than 5 minutes. I'm beginning to think you're trying to avoid spending time with your family.
No, I just don't want to be late for work. That's it.
The store doesn't open for another hour.
I admire your work ethic.
Avoiding your little stress issue won't make it go away.
It will if we stop talking about it. Sherry, you look too pale. Have a pancake. I don't want a pancake.
No. Have a pancake.
I don't want a pancake.
Then have some fruit.
I don't want a pancake. I don't want a pancake. I don't want a pancake. Yvette, can you make me a pancake? I'll make sure yours gets lots of figs in it.
Were you just talking to the cow creamer?
Meanwhile, Sharon is trying to get Yvette out of the house as soon as possible, but Jay's like, no, I need to have this pancake. And everyone's like, what is so important about this pancake? Turns out Sharon knew this. Nobody else did. That BCIS is outside.
Yvette, stop what you're doing. You need to go with Sharon now. Come on, let's go.
I've only just poured the butter.
I'm supposed to have a pancake.
Does she have time for a pancake?
No!
No time for pancakes, sweetheart.
Now, Yvette, we have to go now. It's almost finished. Look, bubbles. Yeah, Mother, why?
Morning. I'm Officer Danikian. This is Officer Arnold. We're with the BCIS.
Who?
The Bureau of Citizenship and Immigration Services.
Who? The INS.
Oh.
We're looking for Yvette Lajamodiere.
She's not
I'm
here.
Yvette Lajamodiere.
Ms. Lajamodiere, we have a warrant for your deportation.
They are specifically there for Yvette, and Jay is now mad at the cow creamer because of her insistence on getting a pancake, like Sharon was trying to get Yvette away. So now we go back to the police station, and an officer is looking at the cow creamer, and Erin says that Jay responded to it in ways that she doesn't respond to other cows. So he thought that was weird. Now going back, right after the officers came to Jay's parents' house, Erin says that he notices that Jay has been acting kind of weird recently, and particularly to inanimate animals.
Ew, get it off.
Is this triggering recovered memories or something? You're being weird. Why are you being weird? Are your pupils dilated? This is not an isolated incident. The last time you were at the house, you got mad at those little pig-shaped salt and pepper shakers. Is this about farm animals or is it about condiments?
The cow tells Jay to bring her home, and Erin is like, is this like talking to you or something? Like, this is really weird. Jay says that Erin should talk to Sharon to bring Yvette back to the United States since Sharon is an immigration lawyer. But then we cut to...
Hey, why don't you talk to Sharon? She's an immigration attorney, for God's sake. She might surprise us all and be useful.
Come on. Who do you think got Yvette deported?
What?
We have sent a message to our illegal population that our immigration laws cannot be ignored. However, I assure you that no one's rights have been violated.
Would you like to respond to criticisms of local authorities?
I'd just like to add that the United States has a generous program for legal immigration to which all aspiring Americans are welcome to avail themselves.
You're a horrible, horrible person.
Now everybody hates Sharon. Like, when I say that, it's not just Jay and Erin. They go to the bar, which I don't think I've ever mentioned that the bar is called the Barrel. I think I just keep calling it the bar. Eric is also mad at Sharon because now there's been like a ton of deportations in their area. And so basically everybody's mad at Sharon. And she's like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Did you meet my sister Sharon? This is all her fault.
Nice to meet you.
I saw you on the news. You're a horrible person.
Sharon says that she didn't know that Yvette had an expired visa. Sharon blames Jay for all of this. She was going to leave with Yvette, and why was Jay making her stay there? Because Erin also says, like, you were really weird about that pancake. So now Jay starts to believe that everything is her fault.
Crap.
It was the pancake. Stupid cow.
Selfish bitch.
Back with the police, Sharon says that with Jay and Aaron, it has never been about her. It has always been about the two of them, all the attention's always on them, but this is the one time that all of the focus has been on her. She believes that everything that Jay and Aaron did, which we are now going to learn, that all of that was a personal attack against her. Karen says that she has known this whole time that Yvette's visa expired, that she didn't want to tell Darren about this.
And how long have you known this?
A while. Since we hired her.
So you've been lying to your entire family about this for 20 years?
I haven't been lying the whole time. There was that initial lie, and then I never bothered to tell you the truth. I am not proud of it.
I'm just sick about this.
Well, how do you think I feel?
Like a liar, I would imagine. I play golf with politicians who feel very strongly about this issue. We employed an illegal alien.
Oh, don't be such a drama queen. Can't you just make a phone call?
Karen tells Jay and Aaron that they should go after Yvette, to take all the money that's in her purse and to just go and find her. Jay and Aaron get in the car and they start driving to Canada because Yvette is from Canada. For those who don't know northern United States, southern Canada geography, Niagara Falls is on the border of the United States and Canada. The border is between the falls. There's the American side and there's the Canadian side. While they're in the car driving to the border, they're talking about how Yvette had a really hard life when she was in Canada. Both of her parents died. She was in a house fire, and basically she came over to the United States with very little, and she's been working with the Tyler family ever since. Aaron says to Jay that when their parents die, Sharon is going to be absolutely broken. Like, she's not going to be able to handle herself. Aaron also will be pretty devastated, but that Jay probably won't change much because she spends so much of her life pushing her family away. I can see where storytelling wise that's like a good line and how that brings out how Jay is viewed by the rest of the family. But also, like, as I was watching that, I was like, imagine if someone said that to you. Imagine if somebody said that to you. Aaron also says that he's concerned for Jay. He notices that she's been acting differently recently and also what was going on with the cow creamer. He also says that if she won't talk to him, will she talk to the cow? They find Yvette and they tell her that they're going to take her home, but she says that it's too risky for her, for both of them. And then the cow tells Jay once again to bring her home.
Moo. Bring her home.
The cow also, while they're all driving together, says to take a right on Red.
Did your mother know you took a creamer?
Right on red.
What?
Right on red. 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 Move!
What are you doing?
I don't know!
Bringing Jay down a one-way street and stopping in front of somebody's front yard. Turns out that is Yvette's parents' house. They find out that her parents are still alive, they have a lot of money, she's not French, her name is Cindy, and that she ran away from home. And like, everybody's confused about why Jay decided to take that turn. Aaron is like, something must have told you to like stop here, like something brought you to this house in particular. Yvette, or Cindy's parents, say that she hasn't contacted them in 20 years, but she says that they never paid any attention to her while she was here. Why would she go out of her way to contact them if they're not going out of their way to contact her? They knew they knew how to contact her, they just chose not to. When her parents aren't very emotionally responsive to the whole thing, Jay tells the cow, I'm going to destroy this cow. Like, you're just making things more and more upsetting. Like, you brought us to this house and everybody is just getting upset with each other. Meanwhile, like, she's in the car, she's talking to the cow, and everybody else is like, what is she doing right now? The cow tells Jay to, once again, bring Yvette home, and so she gets into the trunk of the car. Aaron says that he's not going to stop until Jay tells him what's going on, because, like, yeah, like, this is getting kind of weird. They get through customs, and they are immediately stopped by police. Like, the police are basically waiting there for them. I liked this part because the police say to drop the weapon, and you're like, what weapon are any of them holding? And Aaron has the cow in his hand. Who tipped the police off that they were going to be coming back? Sharon. Remember how earlier she said that this felt like a personal attack? Jay tells Sharon that, like, luckily she has the best lawyer who can help her out of this, and Sharon is like, Jay, I don't think I can help you with this. Like, you are now wanted in 2 different countries. Jay apologizes to Yvette about everything, and Yvette says that at least now she's not lying about her life. Now she can actually, like, be herself again. Jay is told that the charges were dropped, and at first she thought it was by Sharon, but a little time rewind, we find out that Sharon and Darren talked to each other, and that Darren was the one to get the charges dropped for both Jay and Cindy.
I am very sad.
Sharon, go talk to your father. You're his favorite.
I thought I was his favorite.
You don't have favorites.
Can't we just go get her and smuggle her back?
You okay?
She's been with us for over 20 years. We practically raised her.
Let me make you some tea.
Sydney, Darren, you You feel like a game of golf?
Basically says like he had to go against his personal beliefs to do this, and he's signing up Cindy for classes so she can work towards citizenship, and also Jay starts to reconcile with the rest of the family. I can see how the ending of it is very like wrapping up a 44-minute comedy. I feel like also just like a tying up with a bow feels weird right now. The whole Darren being like, yeah, I mean, I had to go against all of my beliefs for all of this, and everyone's like, thanks for doing that, Darren. And so I think that that was one of the things that, like, on one hand, it felt very outdated, and then I realized that, like, that is still things that people say. I also mentioned earlier that I was really excited about how much Lee Pace was involved in this episode, because character-wise, I feel like we haven't really seen the Jay and Aaron relationship be explored that much. I hoped that there was going to be more between the two of them, and I really suspected that there would be. Now Aaron is like, what's going on with these animals? Like, what's going on with my sister? And I did wonder if it was also just because I'm a fan of Lee Pace in general. And that's the thing, like, I liked this episode. It was a good episode. I like the style of it. Did that just change, or has it been like that this whole time? No, I know that it wasn't like that this whole time. Anyway, that's really all I have to say about this episode. Let's go to episode 6. Okay, tech problem solved. I think that this might actually be like my least favorite episode. This episode deals a lot with body image, body dysmorphia specifically. It feels very early 2000s for me. At the start of the episode, Jay and Aaron are both in Jay's trailer, trying to find and take pictures of a, quote, mythical creature, a neighbor who barely leaves his trailer and that Jay calls Fat Pat. They're basically like trying to take a picture of one of the few times that he ever leaves the trailer, which like is just kind of weird. I mean, like, not kind of weird, like, that is weird.
You don't feel at all like you're exploiting this guy.
What's the point of living in a trailer park if you can't take in the local color? And by that, I mean spy on the freaks.
We're all spying on freaks tonight. Talked to any cow creamers recently?
Not recently, no.
There's another neighbor. There's 3 main people from the trailer park that are relevant to this. There's Jay, there's Pat, and there is Marianne Marie. If this character seems familiar, it is because she also appears on Pushing Daisies Season 2, Episode 8, Comfort Food. Marianne Marie is also one of Jay's neighbors, and she says that she hasn't been getting her mail recently, specifically disability checks, and asks if Jay has seen them. Jay at first is like, no, I haven't seen any. But then she goes through her pile of mail, and there actually are like multiple checks in the mail. But the buffalo on her apron tells Jay not to give the checks, so she doesn't. Specifically, it says to keep them here.
Keep them here.
So Jay says that she hasn't seen them. What I've realized in the past 2 episodes or so is that we're really starting to see Jay follow the instructions of these animals with a lot less questions as before. In the following scene, an animal tells Jay to staple an untied shoelace, which leads to a mother tripping and the baby falling out of the stroller to be caught by Jay. So somebody photographs it, so now everybody's calling Jay a hero, and she's like, don't call me a hero. She really doesn't like all of this attention being on her, saying like how good she is, how like great of a person she is. She's like, I don't want any of this. This continues because she goes to the barrel and is told to take the seat out from another person and give it to somebody else. And at first Jay is like, why are you telling me to do this? The guy who was going to sit in the chair took the wrong drink, and that drink had alcohol in it, and he's been sober for 20 years. So Jay pulling out that chair and making him spill the drink on himself rather than actually drinking it. He thanks Jay for saving his 20-year sobriety, and Jay is like, I'm not like the hero, like I'm not this nice person that everybody is like thinking I am. Kind of like in a previous episode, Eric said that he thinks that Jay is really nice and that she goes out of her way to do all this nice stuff, but Jay is very much denying it. She doesn't want that kind of attention on her. When Jay gets back to the trailer park, she sees that something is burning in a neighbor's trailer, Marianne Marie's trailer, and finds that she's nowhere to be found, but she recently must have been there because there are freshly baked muffins. There's a large footprint in the trailer, which makes her suspect that Fat Pat was there, and especially since his door is also open.
He's out.
She goes back to her own trailer, and Pat is in there. He found all the pictures that she took of him and is like, this is weird. And Jay tries to apologize, and he says that he won't leave his trailer until he looks the way that he wants to. And Jay says that she would also shut herself in if it wasn't for her family. That gives her the idea to bring Pat to her family. The Tyler family is having a game night, which Jay usually doesn't attend. They're all playing this game, and Pat and Sharon are on a team together, and they both get so competitive. It's like bringing out the competitive side in both of them. Karen Aaron says this one line about Sharon right here, and it really reminded me of a similar mother-daughter relationship from an early 2000s comedy series.
Pat's on a diet.
You seem so fit.
Really? Oh. I have lost a lot of weight.
Sharon used to be a husky girl before she slimmed down. Weren't you, dear?
Well, maybe I don't feel like being criticized around the clock.
I don't criticize you. And if you're worried about criticism, sometimes a diet is the best defense.
Sharon, go talk to your father. You're his favorite.
I thought I was his favorite.
We don't have favorites.
If you're saying I play favorites, you're wrong. I love all my children equally. I don't care for Joe.
You both came out of me. I don't understand why you have to be so snarky.
How can you treat me this way?
Oh, please! Everything I've said about you can be covered with makeup and a lie about a thyroid problem. Good grief almighty! You think I'm enjoying my slide into comedy? Sorry, Lindsay. There goes your dessert.
Why don't you eat it, Mother? Why don't you just take this cake and shove it?
Hey, who called the cops? At the end of the night, Pat thanks Jay for being a friend, and she's like, oh, wait a second, like, I didn't mean for this to become a friendship. We're gonna go get you your own friends. They go to the barrel, and Pat goes to get a drink from Eric, and the two of them are talking. He says that it's clear that Jay has a huge crush on him because of how obsessed she's been with him. Remember all the pictures that she took and that he found. Eric is like, I've never heard her mention your name before. Mary Ann Marie tells Jay that if she doesn't get those checks by Friday, then she's going to have to move out because she's not going to be able to pay to rent that space anymore. But the buffalo once again tells her not to give them to her, so she doesn't. Over the course of that conversation, Pat has gotten into Jay's trailer. Not only that, but also gotten into her bed. And so when she goes back inside, she's like, you very much got the wrong impression. A side plot in this episode has been Aaron talking to the therapist that we saw in the previous episodes, the ones who's Karen's therapist, and then later Jay's, the one that she stole the bronze monkey from. He doesn't know what's going on with her, but she must be delusional. The therapist brings up that, like, Aaron is saying that there's voices coming out of these figures, and that must be the reason why Jay is responding. And he's like, have you heard these voices? Like, are they telling you to do anything?
I broke its head off the last time it talked to her.
And that seemed to work?
I took its mouth away.
Do you believe you alone have the power to silence the creamer?
It was never not silent.
If you explain that to another person, they might be like, what's going on with you? Do you guys know Rube Goldberg machines? This is going to sound like, I promise it's relevant. You push a domino and all the dominoes go, like they start falling down, and then the last domino pushes the ball and the ball goes down this whole like slide kind of thing, and then that knocks over a bunch of books, and then eventually it turns to like a light bulb turning on, something like that. You know those. The cow head falls off of the creamer and it results in a Rube Goldberg type of chain of events. And the final thing is there's these books, and all you can see of the titles, the way that they all fell on top of each other, is cow talk. So now also Aaron is like, that was weird. Remember how Jay has been getting all of this attention about her being like such a great person, all that. So she won Employee of the Month, which I don't even know how many people are working at this place. We really only know Alec and the manager from the first episode, and Bianca in that one episode. Jay's whole family is there, and they're taking her out to lunch because Employee of the Month gets the afternoon off. And Jay tries to deny the Employee of the Month award because she doesn't want people to be viewing her as this person who does like all this stuff for other people. My note here is I thought it was very funny when she tries to deny the award, and I said, oh my gosh, it's like my senior superlative. My school does this whole like awards night for the superlatives. So I was basically campaigning for somebody else to get it. If anybody told me that they were going to vote for me, like they had not voted for me yet, I told them to vote for somebody else. I told them to vote for one of my friends, and I still won at the end. I did not go to the awards night because I was assistant directing the fall play, and I was annoyed because we were over there performing in the cafeteria, because getting like a side of the cafeteria was the only space that we could find, because this superlative awards night that no other school has, somebody came down to like tell me that I won. I think I straight up said the words like, I don't care, like we're trying to rehearse. And eventually I had to be called down to guidance to pick up the award. Like, you need to take this award. And I'm like, I don't want the award. Like, and you need to take a picture for the yearbook. So that's also why, if anybody who's watching has my high school yearbook, the superlative picture that I'm in is taken on a completely different day because I did not know we were taking a picture. I thought that I was getting out of it. I think that I am actually going to keep that in. There, you guys can get some Sam lore. Anyway, so the whole family is out to lunch, and Aaron arrives a little later than everybody else. He says that he was fine when existence had no meaning, but now he sees that things are talking to Jay, and he's like, so there must be some sort of meaning for things. There must be some sort of like greater influence here. Now that he knows that there is something in some capacity, that has just thrown him off completely because he thought he was so sure. And it's kind of like the episode earlier with the nun where she was saying that like she wanted certainty, like the doubt was what was like overwhelming her. So it's kind of like that. Everybody's wondering why Pat isn't leaving his trailer again, and also what's happening with Marianne because she went into his trailer and hasn't left since. Turns out she's inside making muffins for Pat. He says that if people are only going to view him as fat, there's no point in trying to be anything else. Jay finally gives Marianne the checks, and she's mad that Jay has been keeping them from her this whole time, especially when she knew that Marianne was looking for them. But then Pat passes out behind them, and they're like, okay, we're going to the hospital. They put aside that argument. That's going to be for another time. Pat is in a coma for a bit. Once he's out of the coma, that's when Marianne tells him that she adds a fat substitute into her muffins, and those may cause gastrointestinal problems. And he was eating a ton of muffins, and apparently that was not something that she told him. I feel like that's something that you need to tell people, but anyway, because of that, he's lost a lot of weight, and he's finally at his goal weight. Marianne says that he could now be the spokesperson for her healthy muffin company. I'm over here like, they did send somebody to a hospital because you didn't disclose the ingredients that are in it. So like, how healthy could this company be? But anyway, there's only 3 minutes left of the episode. So again, you have to tie everything up with a little ribbon. They both try to thank Jay, and she refuses. Eric stops by Jay's work and asks if she's dating Pat, and she says no. And then Jay also denies being the nice person that Eric is claiming that she is.
But you got the wrong idea about me. I'm not a baby saver.
Well, sure you are.
I'm really not. Not unless there's coercion, and even then, only if it's convenient.
You can't tell me every nice thing you've ever done was because you were forced to do it.
I guess I wasn't forced to be nice to Fat Pat. Not really.
See? You are nice.
You have to leave.
Yeah, I think that this was probably my least favorite episode so far. No offense to all of the Wonderfalls fans who are watching this video, if this is your favorite episode. The way that they talk about, well, the way that Jay talks about Pat in general is just weird. But episode 7, I liked episode 7. Episode 7 is called Barrel Bear. I liked this episode. I thought it was really interesting. Alec tells Jay that she really needs to improve at work because he's been covering for her this whole time. So upper management thinks that she's doing a good job when really she isn't. And she stops listening to him until the stuffed bear says give it back to her. Outside, a woman throws a quarter into the fountain, and Jay is like, was that the thing I was supposed to give back to her? And this quarter is also conveniently shinier than all of the other ones, so she's able to just reach in and get it until she gets a fine for taking money from the fountain. I'll be so honest, when this episode started, I did a double check to see at what point in the series this was because it really felt like the start of like what would have been episode 2 or something like that. The fact that we're going back to the taking a quarter out of the fountain, Alec telling her about her work ethic. It felt very early series to me rather than where we are now. But okay, at the bar, Mahendra is listening to the voicemail messages on Eric's phone because he doesn't want to answer the phone. He views himself as this new Eric, and the people who have that phone number are the old Eric, or they know the old Eric. So he doesn't want to even listen to it. They see somebody across the bar staring at a picture on the wall, and Mahendra says that that person is Millie Marcus, the first American woman to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel and survive. This is when Jay gives the quarter back to Millie, but the official on the wall says that this isn't what she's supposed to give back. Like this, it's not the quarter, it's something else.
Millie Marcus?
Yes?
You don't know me, and I'm pretty sure it can't be this simple, but I wanted to give you this. It's yours.
Oh.
Not the quarter.
Right, so not the quarter.
Mahandra is a huge fan of Millie, so she asks for an autograph. Jay this whole time has been talking negatively about Niagara Falls, about how who would want to live here kind of thing. Millie says that the reason why she did the whole stunt is so then she could leave her life in Niagara Falls. She could go travel the world. She could live this other life that she didn't see herself being able to live if she just was in Niagara Falls. But Millie definitely wants to stay relevant, which she has fallen out of relevancy for a long time now. So Jay, along with Mahandra, set up this signing event at Wonderfalls, but nobody goes over to her. And especially somebody even asks, like, is it a book signing? And they're like, no, it's just like a photo signing. So nobody wants to go over there. Then Jay is like, what if she wrote a book? If she co-wrote a book with her mother, then maybe like that could bring her back into the public eye. And Karen is like, I'm not going to co-write a book.
Our daughter seems quite taken with you, Millie. You always have this effect on young people.
I suppose I did back in the day, but I have to admit it's been a long time since anyone took such an active interest.
She accomplished a thing, okay? Hell, it got her out of here and all the way to Paris, France.
Remember when I was talking about episode 5 and I was like, this episode 7 is confirmed Darren and Sharon are Republicans? Darren says that Millie is a hero for embodying the American spirit. He says that both he and Sharon are part of CLAW, the Concerned Ladies of America West East Coast branch.
That's what you are. Your story embodies the pioneering spirit of innovation that thrives in today's modern woman. Jay's sister and I are both very active members of CLAW, Concerned Ladies of America West, East Coast branch. We've been promoting achievement and morality in family life and public policy since you were 16?
How do you live with yourself?
I'm assuming, because I searched it to see if that was a real thing, I'm assuming that this is a reference to Concerned Women for America, a large socially conservative Christian women's organization with a mission to bring biblical principles into public policy. The organization's stance is pro-life, pro-traditional family structure, and opposes things like gender-affirming care.
How do you live with yourself?
This is where, in the theme song, the part where Sharon goes, that's from right here. They have Millie come in and speak for CLAW, but then before, like as they're getting ready for that, we see somebody pull the poster down. Jay sees Sharon talking to a woman and asks how long she's been using the Republican Party as a lesbian dating service. I really like that part. Millie figured that at this point everybody's forgotten about her, until somebody comes in saying that they will never forget Millie, never forget how Millie stole her life. This woman claims that Millie was not the first woman to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel and survive, but Millie took all the credit for it. She took the fame and the fortune and left town without facing any consequences for being a liar. I feel like we've seen this before.
I didn't earn this. Exactly. Which makes you the real expert. You're gonna take credit for something you didn't do. You don't get any more Gen Y than that.
This woman says that Millie could not possibly be the one who went in the barrel, because afterwards she's standing there and she's smiling, but when she went over the barrel instead, she was knocked around so much that she was so out of it she couldn't even stand, could barely even respond. It's impossible that Millie could have been the one. I said her fiance and manager, I almost just said her finance manager. Her fiance and manager was the one who decided to pull the switch. This other woman's name is Vivian, and they know each other. They have this history. Millie claims that Vivian could not handle the world tour and could not handle all the fame that come with such a stunt. Mahandra still fully believes Millie. She thinks that Millie is the one who did all of this and that Vivian is lying. But also, Millie isn't like denying that she didn't go over the falls. She says that she's not lying, but she's also not like outright saying that she didn't. Millie also tells Vivian that she should stay for the talk and confront Millie as a liar in front of everybody. But Vivian leaves. Jay contrasts with Mahandra. She believes Vivian. Jay calls Millie a nobody and said that she's going to defend Vivian. So Mahandra and Jay argue about who they think is right.
I can't believe this. You're not even gonna pretend you're not a big fat liar?
Hey, she's not fat. And she's not a liar either.
What about the part where she didn't go over Niagara Falls in a barrel?
Don't worry about Vivian. She rants and she raves. Everybody thinks she's crazy.
But she's not crazy.
Millie ends up canceling the talk, which Sharon is mad about because she's the one who put all the effort into the planning. She says that she needs to protect Niagara's legacy, so that's why she can't have Vivian coming out and accusing her of lying. She needs to keep this image of Millie Marcus being the one who went over the falls. Mahandra says that nobody would believe Vivian's story and think that everybody would just think that she's doing this for the fame, and that everybody wants to hear the Millie Marcus story. Like, Eric agrees to this part. They want to hear the Millie Marcus story because that's the story that they want to believe. But also just because it's the story that people want to believe, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. Jay goes to Vivian's house and she says that she wants to bring back what's hers. Bring it back to her. Eric's phone rings and it says that it's a restricted number. So he answers thinking that it's Jay, but it's Mahandra. Remember earlier when Mahandra was answering the phone because he didn't want people to be calling him? He seemed to be very interested in the concept of Jay calling him. So, like, I guess it's sort of improvement that he's picking up his own phone. Mahandra tells Eric that Jay must be up to something, because why is she defending Vivian so much? Why is she going out of her way to defend Vivian? The two of them team up, Mahandra and Eric. Also, this whole time, Vivian and Millie have still been arguing. I'm realizing this, like, as I'm saying this out loud. Like, when I was writing, I was like, oh, like, Vivian is one of the main characters in Pushing Daisies. Like, I wonder if it's just like, oh, I really like that name. But saying Millie and Vivian and Millie so many times, the two aunts on Pushing Daisies are Vivian and Lily. So I do wonder if there was some sort of like, I like those names together or something like that. It wasn't really until like this past sentence that I said it out loud that I was like, oh, wait a second. Millie and Vivian argue even more, and Vivian says that there's nothing Millie can do aside from just living her life knowing that she's lying the whole time. But she's the one who's going to have to live with that lie.
How do you live with yourself? But then you don't really, do you? Because you're not even you. And if you're not the person you say you are, then you spent 50 years being a nobody. And I'd rather be a nobody that's a somebody than a somebody that's just a nobody. Or something. Point is, you suck!
And that's when Millie says, well, maybe it doesn't have to be a lie. I could go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Remember also when she said that, like, that was the easy part? Okay. I can tell you one thing that I would not want to do, and that is willingly throw myself over the edge of a waterfall in a wooden barrel. I would not be a fan of that. Mahandra and Eric, they go with Millie. They take the barrel. Millie's about to go over. Like, that is her plan. So Mahandra is recording all of this.
If to videotape this, you could be recording evidence.
Recording history.
History that's admissible in court.
You can see everything from up here. So that's where I hid. That's where they pull Vivian ashore and we switch places. Nobody down there saw a thing. We had them all skunked.
Okay, just gonna erase that part.
She's convinced herself of all this, but also, like, it's still very clear that, like, she can admit it to herself as much as she wants, but, like, she does know that she's not the one who went over the falls. Eric suggests that they fake the video, but Millie says that that would also be lying, and the whole thing that they're doing right now is to not have it be a lie anymore, to have it be the truth. But also, like, the fact that they're doing this at night is because nobody would actually let them during the day, which also makes Eric really nervous about what if something happens. Jay finds out that this is happening, so she and Vivian, because they're a team in this episode, they are going after them to try to stop them. But Jay's car, because it's always something with Jay's car in this show, Jay's car gets stuck in the mud. And Vivian and Jay have this whole conversation. Jay says that if Vivian thought that going over the falls would make her famous and that she wouldn't have to do anything else with the rest of her life, she needs to work for something. Like, you can't just have, like, one event be the only thing that you do in life. Vivian says that she sees in Jay somebody who's, like, working but not working for anything. Like, she's not working for a certain path in the future. She's not doing any of that. Vivian, she was working for her future, and Jay is literally stuck in the mud. Vivian says that, remember, a lot of the show, I don't remember how many of these quotes I actually, like, put in, but a lot of the show is kind of, like, lost in a way. It's like how much of your life are you, like, actually in control of, and are you in control of changing? Like, is that the kind of way that you live your life, or do you just surrender to destiny? Destiny is a word that has been used many times in these episodes, but and yeah, it's kind of like in Lost, where Jack and Locke and many of the other characters, but we all know Jack and Locke were foils of each other, where they were saying, like, do we have to accept that things are going the way that they're going, or can we change things? The man of faith versus man of science whole thing.
What if everything that happened here happened for a reason?
If you had the chance to change your fate, would you?
I didn't think I was going to bring up Lost in this episode. aside from when I said it at first. Jay and Vivian get to the falls and they see a broken barrel floating and they're like, oh no, we're too late. Like she already went over the edge. So that was when I wondered, like, did Millie fake her own death and were Mahandra and Eric in on it? But I didn't have that question for too long because in the next scene, Eric and Mahandra are sitting outside. They seem very sad, shocked, all those emotions. They said that the barrel slipped before anybody was ready, so that also makes you really think that Millie died. But nope, Millie wasn't in the barrel. It slipped before she even got into it, but it made everybody realize that like what they were about to do. What was going through my mind right now was like, this show is a comedy. And a comedy wouldn't kill off a character that you become invested in with only like 20 minutes of screen time. That wouldn't happen. Who would do that? Anyway, Millie says that she got to the edge of the falls, but she realized that like she'll never be able to do what Vivian did. She tells Vivian that she wants her to go with her on this whole tour because the concerned ladies set up a tour. She wants to tell everybody the true story and that it's not too late to tell everybody the truth. And then Millie dies. So they did fool me, and then they didn't. So I wasn't really sure where my prediction fell in all this. At the funeral, there's 4 people at the funeral: Jay, Eric, Mahandra, and Vivian. It says that it's the funeral of Vivian Caldwell, not of Millie Marcus.
How did you arrange all this?
Her purse was full of traveler's checks.
Isn't that illegal?
Probably the least illegal thing we're doing right now.
We have come here today to pay our respects to a woman who touched all of us. We've all felt her love, her smile, her words of comfort in times of need. Not me personally, of course, but many people did.
Vivian has now taken over the identity of Millie, and she is living her life as Millie from now on. So also, it's the physical death of one person, the metaphorical death of someone else. Mahandra apologizes for fighting with Jay, but it's because as long as they've been friends, Jay has told Mahandra everything, and now she feels like she's not telling her things, so that she's hiding something.
Started with all the mumbling, and then this obsession with consciousness and why things talk. I mean, I know you have a philosophy degree, but I mean, come on. And all these random acts of kindness, are you feeling guilty about something? She won't tell me what it is. And that makes me sad.
Jay tells Mahandra about the animals, but Mahandra does not believe her, and it's like, okay, when you're ready to actually tell me what's going on, let me know. I liked this part because it brought up something that was in my head this whole time. Jay says to the bear that she hopes that what she did was right because the bear was saying give it back to her. And both of the people in this story were women. So she's like, I hope I gave it to the right person. As she walks away, the bear decoration says it's never too late. She rips the bear off of that little decoration because it's like a bear in a barrel. Eric and Jay go to the edge of the falls, and Eric says that he's glad that he's in Niagara Falls. Like, he doesn't have this doubt anymore.
Don't laugh, but I kind of like it here. I like the barrel. I like slinging cocktails. I like Niagara Falls. And I like you.
He's ready to completely start over, and he throws his old phone over the falls, and they hear it ringing as it's going down, and they're like, well, hope it wasn't anybody important. And I actually like really zoomed in on this because I wanted to see like if I could figure out what it was, because I like when shows do that. Like when there's like a little hint, but only if you pay attention or only if you pause at the exact right moment. But no, like there was no name. Jay has filled that decorative barrel with Millie's ashes and throws that over the edge of the falls so that now everybody can say that Millie Marcus did go over the falls in a barrel. And then immediately after, Jay gets fined for littering. Episode 8 is called Lovesick Ass. I was just looking at the IMDb because I wasn't sure about this, but then I realized that like it was in the talking about it that a lot of people were saying this was their favorite episode. I'll be honest, not my favorite episode. I really liked episode 9. Episode starts with Eric adding a satellite to Jay's trailer so she can have more TV channels. He asks when he'll be able to actually go inside and watch that TV, and Jay's like, it's a really small TV, so I think we're gonna have to say no to that. Mahandra's also there, and she says that Eric really likes Jay, and Jay just has to admit it, but she refuses to.
Look at him. He's smitten. Smitten and eager or bad. Now, you know what you get with smitten and eager. Romance. Relentless, treacly, manufactured romance. And that kind of romance never ends well.
Girl needs a boy.
What did you say?
Girl needs a boy.
What girl needs is to get in the door before the badgering starts. That's what girl needs, okay?
Girl needs
Girl might actually find time to have a boy if you'd ever shut up.
There's a woman who is waiting by the Maid of the Mist statue, and she's there all day, she's there all night. It looks like she's waiting for somebody. Eric finds her the next morning, and he was originally going to bring donuts for Jay, but he's like, I saw this woman here, and it seems like she really needed a snack, really needed somebody to talk to her. They find out that this woman has come from Russia with the promise of getting married. Somebody was writing to her. They find out that her name is Katya, and she has all of these letters that has the first name of the person that she's supposed to be marrying, but doesn't have a last name, doesn't have any contact information. So Jay and Eric don't really know, where they're supposed to go to find this guy. Jay and Eric both go through the letters trying to figure out, anything, and Jay comments about how cheesy they are.
Never break this spell I'm under. Every thought of you is wonder. I think I just threw up a little in my mouth.
I don't know. I think it's kind of sweet.
Even if we do find this guy, there's gotta be a reason he ditched her. Why would you want to get involved in something so potentially messy and complicated if you don't have to? Is this because of Heidi?
Why would it have anything to do with Heidi?
Well, it would explain why you're so big with the empathy.
He says that maybe it's just because Jay has never been in a relationship and Jay never lets people in that kind of way, so this just isn't something that she's used to, and that may be why she's pushing against it. Eric is basically doing all but confessing his love for Jay, and Jay keeps pushing him away. The three of them go to this chapel that Katya was supposed to meet her husband at. The person who's in the front says that the 6 p.m. wedding, that was canceled. Katya is what is going on? I came here and I was told that I'd be getting married, and what is happening? Eric passes out from anxiety of being in a wedding chapel again because of when Heidi left him. So this is the first time he was in any sort of wedding environment since. Jay takes the opportunity of everybody else focusing on Eric to take the page out of the book with the guy's contact information. They go to that person's house. Katya is very nervous to go to the door, but Eric says that she deserves an explanation for why this guy didn't show up, why this guy canceled.
No wants me, he rejects me, he canceled credit card. Fine, but if he canceled after he brought you all the way over here, then he's damn well gonna explain why. Don't you want that? Don't you think you deserve that?
And they open the door, and a kid answers. This kid's 13 years old. His name's Peter.
We're looking for Peter Johnson.
I'm Peter Johnson.
The other Peter Johnson.
They find out that he's been the one who's writing the letters. He was the one who paid for Katya to come over. He's the one who said that he was going to marry Katya, and all of them are what is happening here, but especially Katya. He says that he would have gone to the chapel if he hadn't been grounded. Everybody except for him seems to realize how big of an issue this is. Katya is understandably upset, and Jay says that maybe she hasn't been in love before because she has never been as heartbroken as Katya is right now. Eric says that sadness is just one aspect of love, but what really matters is the good parts, and that Jay needs to open herself up and lower her defenses. Peter ends up going to Jay's trailer to bring Katya back with him, and Eric says, Peter, you're not old enough for a relationship. This is also going into the next scene as well. So Jay and Eric are telling Peter he's not old enough for a relationship, he's not responsible enough. But Jay and Eric, they're really talking about each other. When they're saying be in a relationship, not be in a relationship, all that, the subtext is they're talking about themselves. And that's when Peter is okay, I'm leaving this conversation.
For your own good, don't go after a woman who isn't interested. They'll just make you crazy.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just giving the kid some advice.
That's not advice, that's thinly veiled subtext.
I'll be 14 in a month.
See, he's willing to wait. Don't wait, Peter. She doesn't want you. You're setting yourself up to be tortured.
Actually, Peter, torture would imply some malicious intent on her part, and I don't see it.
You'd be torturing yourself.
So you can't really blame her.
Who said anything about blame? If it's not there, it's not there. Nothing you can do about it.
Sometimes it's there's just larger, more insurmountable obstacles.
Something can't be more insurmountable. It's either surmountable or it's not.
Point is, obstacles.
The only really insurmountable obstacle would be her disinterest.
Or not.
You know what? I agree with your girlfriend. There's a chance she's interested. Your boyfriend's right. It's not insurmountable. I want to thank you both.
Before Peter can fully leave, because also they're at the bar again, what is this 13-year-old doing here? Anyway, Jay tells Peter that he needs to stay away from Katya, and in this moment, Peter falls for Jay.
Stay away from her. Leave her alone. Forget about her.
I've forgotten about her already.
Scram! Leave her alone.
She doesn't want to talk to you.
Katya is staying with Jay at this point. Jay arrives back at her trailer, and Eric is there as well. And Katya invited Eric over for dinner. It seems like there's some chemistry between the two of them, and Jay starts to get a little jealous, or at least she seems a little jealous when Eric just keeps talking to Katya. But Eric is like, I thought there wasn't anything between us or anything. Like, what is there to be jealous over?
I thought you said you weren't attracted to her.
Well, she was engaged at the time.
Oh, and now that she's not, you suddenly are attracted?
I didn't say that.
What are you saying?
Peter intentionally gives himself a black eye. He goes to Jay's trailer to say that Eric did this to him. When Jay brings it up to Eric, he says that the way that Jay talked to Peter was probably what made him fall in love with her. So we're just gonna blame the woman over here anyway. So he also says that Jay made it clear that she's not interested in him, being Eric, and at least that she doesn't want a relationship. So why is she so jealous about the way that he's acting with Katya? That's a good question that maybe Jay should answer. They realize that Peter isn't going to listen to either of them, so they find Peter's father. Specifically, Eric goes to talk to him.
Tell me, I need to speak to you about your kid. What about my kid?
And he comes back to Jay's trailer with a black eye and says that it was Peter's father's fault. At first, they're like, did he hit you? But it turns out he talked to Peter's father and brought up that the way that Peter acts in relationships now is a representation of how he sees his father treat his mother. And so if Peter is like being all disrespectful, it's probably just because that's the image that he sees. And so then that's when Peter's dad didn't punch him in the face, but Eric walked away straight into, I think he said a forklift or something. And okay, one thing about me, I'm fine with on-screen gore, but the minute injuries have to do with eyes, the minute that there's eye injuries, anything like that, like that is what makes me nauseous. Like that I cannot handle. How do I phrase this? This was not the most enjoyed moment that I had watching this show. Want to know another story? This one I might cut. Like, you know when you go to the eye doctor and they do like the little puff of air like on your eye to see like how your eye like responds to that? So what some places have started to do recently, it's like a little teeny tiny ball, like smaller than like a pen. And the first time that I went to an eye doctor that used that, the concept of something touching my eye, oh my god, I'm multiple people were like holding my hand and I was like because I was like, sorry, it's not touching my eye, absolutely not. And then it happened and it was like literally so quick, like barely even noticed it. I mean, like my eyes were like still tearing. Oh my god, can you guys see this? Anyway, let's just continue. Eric learned in that moment that Peter's mother died the year prior. A combination of his mother dying and his father not paying enough attention to him emotionally is likely what led Peter to find a relationship elsewhere. But it seems that Peter's father doesn't know about Katya, so Jay brings Peter to his father's workplace and she tells him all about Katya.
What'd you do?
My only sin is love.
What'd he do?
He ordered a wife from Russia.
You bought a woman?
She's my fiancée.
His dad asks what he planned on doing, and Peter says that he was going to protect her, just like his dad should have done with his mom. And his dad's like, Peter, your mom had cancer. Like there wasn't anything I could have done there. But Peter is insistent that that's why he was going to get married, so he could protect his wife. That just made me sad. This whole time we're like, we can't understand like why Peter is acting this way. And it was in that moment that I was like, okay, it's not the most unrealistic thing that has happened on this show. Peter runs away and steals Jay's car in the process. Peter brings Eric to the cabin. This whole time he's been saying he has this cabin and that's where he was going to bring Katya, that's where he was going to keep her safe. He brings Eric to the cabin saying that Jay was having a problem and that he needed Eric to come. Jay isn't there. So he tries to hit Eric in the head with a bat to try to take him out because he's jealous of Eric and how Jay seems to like him, but Eric catches on to the whole thing.
Jay? Do you want me to kick your ass? Because I can. I can do that if you'd like.
I'd rather this not spiral into a whole physical thing, so I'll respectfully decline your offer to kick my ass.
Even if you got rid of me, you'd still be left with the biggest obstacle to Jay's heart.
What's that?
Jay.
Now that he knows about Katya, Peter's father goes to Jay's trailer to talk to her. He is like, I'm just going to give you a ton of money so you can go back. And she says that like he can't just drop money on this. Like, he needs to be a better parent to his kid. She shows him the letters that Peter wrote to her. That's when he realizes that those were notes that he wrote for his wife, and he had no idea that she kept them all this time.
I etched your name in the cloud, but it was lost when the thunder cried. I etched your name in the surf, but it was stolen by the rising tide. I etched your name
in my heart, and forever it will there reside.
You have read these?
I wrote it
What?
to my wife years ago. Peter, he must have found these and copied them. I had no idea she kept them all these years.
Who would throw away such words? Her heart was captured by these.
I guess so.
Katya is like, that was really romantic. Like, that you wrote all that. And then the two of them become a thing. Eric is talking to Peter. Peter saying, like, I really miss her. Like, am I ever going to get over this?
I can't stop thinking about her.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal.
Really?
Yeah.
Why does it have to hurt so bad?
Because you love her, but you know it's impossible to be with her.
Think I'll ever forget her?
She's your mother. She'll always be a part of you.
Jay arrives at the cabin, and Eric tells Jay that even though both of them have their issues, there are obstacles, the two of them should go on a date. And guess what happens in episode 9? Let me just give a shout out to everybody who is 1, still watching, hello, and 2, watching on double speed. I don't think that you expected me to suddenly be so full of energy today. Feel free to move it down to a 1.5 speed, it'll give me the watch hours. And that's always appreciated. Episode 9 is called Safety Canary. And there's 2 different things that are happening at the start of this episode. There's a girl named Penelope, and she works at a zoo, and she's explaining these 2 endangered birds and how it's really important for them to mate to continue their endangered species. And also we have Jay and Eric who are getting ready for their date. Similar to the birds, they're this close to being in a relationship, but there's all these factors that are getting into the way of that.
Previously paired with another macaw, but he rejected that bird, so he's very eager to, mate. Lauren appears to be, responding to his advances, ever so cautiously allowing him to feed her nuts and berries. But her mercurial mood swings tend to complicate the courtship.
Their date is at the zoo, which I think is really interesting. Jay is like, I'm having a great time. None of the animals are talking, which, I guess this would be a good way to figure out, if the talking animals is solely inanimate or if it's, real animals too. But I don't know if you've been to a zoo before. There's, pictures of animals. There's, cartoons and things like that, on all the signs. And that's what there is at this zoo, right outside of the birds, and saying, no flash photography.
Take a picture, take a picture, take a picture, take a picture.
Sign tells her to take a picture. Take a picture with flash. And this is one of those moments where the instructions that Jay is given is a little more on the obvious side. Jay takes the picture and the birds fly away. Penelope is like, why would you just do that? Penelope ends up getting fired from her position of working with the birds because she wasn't able to control the birds. And so now she's working with elephants and she's really not enjoying it. There's another person who works at the zoo named Rufus, and he is in love with Penelope. He tells Jay that she needs to apologize to Penelope and do something because she is miserable with the elephants. And the little figurines tell Jay to save the lovebirds.
Those birds are endangered, and she was trying to get them to breed. Without her, their love will die.
Save the lovebirds.
You have to do something.
This episode is bringing back a couple people that we haven't talked about in a bit. Remember Thomas? He's the UPS guy from the first episode. He's back and he sees Sharon at Wonderfalls. And at first Sharon's trying to hide from him, but then he's like, oh, how are you? How's Beth? Are you still dating my ex-girlfriend? Sharon is like, yeah, everything's good. Jay goes to Penelope to apologize, and Penelope says that since Jay scared the birds, now they'll never mate, one step closer to extinction. And in this moment, Penelope is fired from the zoo altogether for not being good with people. We've got Thomas, and we also have Beth, Thomas's ex-girlfriend, Sharon's current girlfriend. The two of them went grocery shopping, and Sharon put 2 jars of peanut butter into the groceries. Remember, Thomas is allergic to peanut butter, so Beth hasn't had peanut butter in a very long time. Beth is saying, I don't like peanut butter, and Sharon is like, well, how would you know unless you try it? You haven't tried it in so long, and I even got you 2 different kinds. We have smooth and chunky peanut butter, and Beth is like, I don't want peanut butter.
What do you want me to say? Chunky.
Of course you would say chunky. Well, if it's chunky you want, there's no point in having a jar of smooth in the cupboard, is there? Because we all know that smooth can't compete with chunky, can it?
Sharon is like, I knew it. I knew you would always pick the man. And Sharon leaves. Mahandra tells Jay that she's a love killer, basically very similar to what Penelope said to her earlier. Mahandra also says that if Jay breaks Eric's heart, she's going to be the one who has to deal with it because they work together and Eric still lives at the bar. So Jay really has to think about this before she decides to get into a relationship with Eric.
We've only just found out our saliva's compatible. There's no love to kill yet.
You said yet. 3 little letters and the most romantic thing I've ever heard fly out of your mouth. After everything that boy's been through, I don't think his heart can take that thing you do.
Jay is told again to save the lovebirds, so she, Eric, and Penelope sneak into the zoo to kidnap those birds and bring them back to Jay's house where they can create a good mating environment for them. At Jay's house, so now it's Jay, Eric, Penelope, Mahandra, and Aaron. Penelope tells Aaron and Eric that their male pheromones are getting in the way of the birds, so Jay makes the two of them leave, and she's like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to procrastinate telling Eric how I feel. And these birds apparently only mate every like 5 years, and Jay's like, I don't know when the last time was, maybe it'll be another couple years, see you then.
Oh, I don't mind waiting.
You could be waiting a long time. These birds, they only mate like once every 5 years. And we don't really know when it was they last got any. So anyhow, we'll have to finish our date later.
They're mating!
What?
Lawrence Cloaca is fully engorged.
They're totally doing it!
But Jay is still like, I cannot confront my emotions right now. So what does she do? She opens the window and the birds fly out. Mahandra says, like, Jay, it's so obvious that it was you. Now everybody has to go and try to find these birds because they're endangered and also just they should really get the birds back. They call Sharon for an extra person and she's like, I heard that there were babies that disappeared. I think I found a clue outside. And Jay is like, maybe I should have told you that those babies were like birds. Sharon realizes that these are the same birds that she had read a National Geographic article about recently. She is like, oh no, like we need to save these birds.
They are endangered.
Yeah. You'd be in danger too if your wings were clipped and you could only cover 800 feet of ground per hour in the average flight of the snowy owls.
But that's good. They're probably less than a mile away.
They're probably in the woods behind the house.
We should split up.
They decide to pair up, and originally Jay is going to go with Mahandra, but Mahandra sort of makes it so that then Jay and Eric are going together. And she's like, you gotta talk to Eric, and this is when you're gonna talk. So we have Sharon and Penelope together, we have Jay and Eric together, and at home, Mahandra and Aaron are staying. When I started working on this video and I was looking through like the basic summaries of episodes, started to know a little bit about what was coming in like the upcoming episodes. Really nothing that spoiled it too much. Like watching all these episodes, it truly feels like I don't know what's happening next. Except I did read that Mahandra and Aaron get into a secret relationship. And this is when it happens. Jay and Eric are talking, and Jay says that she really likes Eric, but he needs to leave before she can unintentionally hurt him by him getting too involved. Thomas goes to Beth's house, and he's like, I know that our relationship is over, but Beth is really upset about the way that her relationship is going with Sharon, so she doesn't push him away.
Hey, have you been crying? You have. She made you cry. How could she do that? What can I do? What do you want me to say?
Don't say anything.
But while Sharon is looking for these birds, she realizes that she needs to get over her feelings about Beth's past relationship and go back to her. And when she gets to her car, the birds are inside. And this is a line that I thought was funny. Apparently the birds thought that Sharon's car was like the best mating environment because there were no male pheromones there. Penelope says that she's glad that the birds are back and they're safe, but at the same time she still doesn't feel like complete, like she still feels like something's wrong. And Jay says that Penelope may have been using these birds as like a wall between her and other human relationships. And Jay is talking about herself as well. Sharon gets to Beth's house, but it's like right after Thomas leaves. Sharon is like not letting Beth get a word in. Sharon is like fully committed to this relationship.
Listen, I don't want to be a rest stop on your road to heterosexual bliss. I want to be one of those spiked mats they use in high-speed chases.
Sharon,
I want to rip the rubber off your hubs, and I want your car to spin out of control and into my arms, and I don't ever want to let you go. You are mine! never gonna let you go. And I'm not afraid anymore. Just don't say anything else.
And even with what we just talked about with Jay and Eric, at the end of the episode, we really get this vibe of like all of the relationships are working out in some way. We have the birds, we have Mahandra and Aaron, we have Penelope and Rufus, we have Eric and Heidi? Episode 10 is called Lying Pig, and we're going to go back to just before the last episode's ending, when Heidi arrives at the bar, the Barrel, where Eric also lives. She apologizes for cheating on him and asks Eric to forgive her, but he tells her to leave.
I made a mistake. For better or for worse. Those were the vows.
You're gonna talk to me about vows? I wasn't the only one who made promises. And I didn't break mine.
Who's Jay? You said her name when you came in. Did she help you get over me? Now let me help you get over her.
Jay?
Heidi kisses Eric, and Jay arrives right as that happens. Eric is like, I'm getting out of this situation. You know what? The two of you can talk. They both accuse the other person as being the reason why Eric is staying in Niagara. Meanwhile, that fish, we've been getting a lot of content from that fish. The fish on the wall tells Jay to mend what is broken.
Mend what is broken.
He's still my husband. What did you say?
Mend what is broken.
We're still married, so you need to back off.
Mend it.
You can't make me. You don't think so? If you're looking for a fight, you'll get it. Eric is leaving with me.
I remember in the last episode when Mahandra and Aaron started to get into the secret relationship, Jay calls Aaron's phone and Mahandra picks up.
Hello? Mahandra? Oh, God. Sorry, I must have misdialed. Go back to sleep.
Hello?
Listen, could you come over right away?
Why? What's wrong?
Nothing. Everything. Don't ask questions, just get over here.
Jay tells Aaron about the animals talking to her, and it seems like somebody finally believes her, or at least like the closest yet to somebody believing her. She makes a list of everything that has talked to her so far, and tells Aaron, take it all. This isn't really related to the plot, but Eric is using a butcher knife to cut lemons and limes. It's great for the visual, but that cannot be safe. Like, I've cut quite a few lemons and limes in my life, and like, I think the largest knife that I have ever used with something like small citrus is like a small chef's knife. I would have never considered using a butcher knife on a lime. Anyway, I had to think about that for a bit. Mahandra gets to the barrel, and she doesn't know about this whole Heidi and Jay thing that happened the last night. So she talks with Eric. Lack of shared information actually is on both people in this conversation. Mahandra doesn't know that Heidi is there, that Heidi has come back. And Eric doesn't know that Mahandra is the one who told Jay to break up with him, or at least to not pursue a relationship with him.
The shrew who ruined my life showed up here last night to ruin my life some more.
Look, she may be confused, but she's not a shrew.
You're defending her?
So I might have kind of encouraged her to do the deed.
You didn't even know me then. How did you encourage my wife to give the bellman room service?
I thought we were talking about Jay.
We're talking about Heidi. She showed up here last... Wait a minute. You encouraged Jay to break up with me?
Heidi comes back and tells Eric to go with her, and Mahandra is like, what Heidi did and what Jay has done are two completely different things, but she also still has this new relationship with Aaron on her mind. Aaron drives away with all the animals, and Jay thinks that she's finally good, but then an animal on the TV starts talking to her, and she throws the TV out the window. She doesn't know that Heidi was right outside the trailer, and so now Jay threw a TV at Heidi.
Mend what was broken.
But she, like, that was not intentional, but everyone's gonna say it was. Jay goes to the hospital to wait with Eric and Heidi, and when Eric arrives, he has a shirt with a snake on it, which, like, I can't figure out. I mean, like, Jay, has she told Eric any of this? Like, I know at this point, like, she's told Aaron. Aaron is very, like, involved now. But I don't know. I feel like if somebody even, like, mentioned that these cartoon animals are talking to them, and that, like, I don't know, would I wear a shirt? Maybe he just doesn't think about it. Maybe he's just a man. Eric asks why Jay went to the bar, and was there something that she had to tell him? Jay is like, nope, no, there isn't. The snake on Eric's shirt continues to talk to Jay, and that's when they find out that Heidi has amnesia, and she can't remember anything since they got to Niagara Falls. The last thing that she remembers is them getting married and going to that honeymoon suite, and doesn't remember anything afterwards. How convenient.
Eric,
I'm here.
what happened?
Side plot that's been going on with Jay's parents. You know how I just mentioned that they went to this medical conference? The whole time that they were there, Darren barely paid any attention to Karen, and so she's a little annoyed about that. She goes to the hospital to see Darren, and she runs into another doctor there. He is Irish and is a big fan of Karen's books. Remember, she writes travel books. But the one book that he didn't like was the one that she wrote about Dublin, and he took that personally. So he offers to take her out to dinner so he can talk about why she should like Ireland, and she accepts. Back with the main plot, Heidi, Eric, and Jay, they go back to that honeymoon suite where Eric found Heidi cheating on him, and Heidi apologizes for ruining their honeymoon by getting amnesia, and that she and the relationship are both okay now. Jay says that it's probably better that Heidi can't remember anything, but Eric is like, I'm not gonna forget this. Even if she forgot it all, like, I will remember. And he also asks Jay, like, why she keeps trying to involve herself. When Eric is out of the room, Heidi and Jay talk, and as they're talking, the door opens and the person that Heidi cheated on Eric with is on the other side of the door, and Heidi immediately closes the door, which makes Jay realize that, like, if she recognized the face...
Hey, I saw you check back in.
Oh my God, you remember.
What?
You don't have amnesia, do you?
She says that, yeah, she did forget everything, like, for a moment, and then it all came back, so, like, yeah, she remembers everything now. And the two of them fight, basically destroying the room in the process. Aaron also continues getting rid of all the animals that had talked to Jay, including the lawn flamingos and the cow creamer. Aaron's just off doing his own thing in this episode. It's very funny. Sharon and Darren are talking, and Sharon is taking this whole Karen going out to dinner with another man thing very personally. And Darren's like, I trust your mother. Like, it's not anything. It's just going out to dinner with a fan. And then Karen comes in and she's like all dressed really nice. And that's when Darren is like, maybe I should be concerned about this. You know how the barrel is a very common location in this show? Every single main character is now at the barrel. We have Karen going out to dinner, Sharon and Darren watching her from the other side of the room. We have Mahendra and Eric both working there. We have Jay, who also comes by. Aaron is also there. And then Heidi comes too. So, like, everybody's at the barrel right now. It's like it's the only restaurant in town or something. Eric tells Mahendra that, like, yeah, he's in love with Jay, but he either needs her to admit her feelings or at least, like, say something. Aaron comes to the bar and he's trying to find the last of the animals on that list. It's the animal of my list.
He's the man of my list.
When Jay comes in, the fish on the wall tells her to stop talking. And then Heidi appears, and she tells Eric that she does remember everything, but she's very sorry. Darren and Sharon also confront Karen and the doctor about that whole dinner that's happening. Honestly, so much is happening right now. Heidi tells Eric that the two of them should get married again to prove her commitment to him, and Jay doesn't do anything to stop it. I mean, the fish told her not to. So Eric agrees.
Marry me again.
Fine. Let's do it right now. There's an all-night chapel. Spring Street, isn't it?
Rainbow Boulevard.
Thanks.
Mahendra tells Jay that she needs to go after him, sort of a contrast to what she said before. She says that sometimes the person you're not supposed to be with is actually the person you're supposed to be with. The fish tells Jay to get to church on time, so she runs after him, and Aaron steals the fish just after she leaves. Aaron is trying to get all the animals to talk to him, and again, very funny. I do love the whole Aaron side plot in this episode.
Talk to me. Come on. Talk to me. Please.
Eric and Heidi get to the chapel, and he nearly has a panic attack. Jay arrives, but Eric tells Jay that knowing her has made him want to commit to marriage vows even more, and so that's why he's marrying Heidi. He wants to marry Heidi so then he won't feel so conflicted. I don't know how attached these characters' audiences of my video are compared to somebody who watches the whole thing, but oh my god, this is annoying me. You know that Jay and Eric are supposed to be a thing, and you also know that there's so few episodes left in the series, so is it going to end with Eric and Heidi and not Eric and Jay? Well, I just gotta keep watching, I guess. Oh well, and that's it. That's the whole episode summary. I liked this episode. I think that the introduction of Heidi, frustrating is for the fangirl in me. I am really liking it as a viewer. I think she's really interesting. I think that we're also starting to see Jay like really start to descend into all of this. The fact that she recognizes at this point that like maybe getting all the animals out of her life is a way to solve everything, but still not being able to figure out exactly how. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I like this episode. I also think that Mahandra telling other people about relationship stuff, but then accidentally saying her relationship with Aaron, I think that's also very funny. Yeah, good episode. My note here was, wow, even episode summaries that I think are really short are still nearly 2 pages long. Episode 11 is called Cocktail Bunny. This is the last one that I have notes for right now, so I'm really hoping that my phone doesn't run out of space while I'm talking about this, but I think I'll be good. I feel like I'm getting through everything really quickly. The episode starts with Jay trying to melt that wax lion, because these animals basically just like broke her heart.
Why make me make the man I love remarry his hussy bride? How is that helpful? Who does that benefit besides the hussy? Because I'm not in the business of benefiting hussies.
No answers, no mercy. I'm finished. You want me to be alone? I'll be alone.
I'll be alone after I melt or set fire to each and every one of you.
She's hoping that by melting the wax lion until it says something and destroying all the animals in general, that like that will be able to get rid of them. Somebody came by to fix that wax lion machine. He says that he's trying, he's not able to fix it. All of the wax lions come out with this like weird face. So now there's just a collection of lions, and they tell Jay that she'll never get rid of all of them.
You'll never get rid of all of us.
Everybody in Jay's life is starting to get a little concerned. Her mom comes into Wonderfalls. She asks what's going on with Jay because she found the bronze monkey in Aaron's room, the bronze monkey that belonged to Dr. Ron, and she's like, I thought that you were giving it back to Dr. Ron. Why does Aaron have it? And basically that like everybody in the family is concerned. She tells Jay that maybe she should go to Dr. Ron. So she does, and the monkey is telling her, like, she brought the monkey back, and the monkey's telling her not to say anything, but she does anyway. He asks if she does everything that the animals say, and she says yes, and that's why she's here, that they're just like absolutely wearing her down.
Why don't you walk me through the day the animals started talking to you?
Well, I didn't get my promotion, and then the lion talked. Then I fainted. And then I had my session with you, and then the monkey talked. And then I met Eric. And then we talked. And then we kissed, and then we... Oh my God. That was right before your monkey broke my heart. Oh no, that was actually the fish.
Did Eric break your heart, or was it the fish?
The fish. The fish told me to break Eric's heart.
We see somebody watching this all on a security camera, but they leave before anybody can see them. Jay's parents take her out to dinner, and Darren asks if this is becoming like a frequent thing, like how concerned should they be? He also mentions that Dr. Ron had a patient who stabbed herself and claimed that Dr. Ron did it, so he just wants to make sure that Jay doesn't end up like her. Her name's like Angie something?
I mean, God forbid you end up like the Olsen girl. Didn't she stab herself and then tell everybody that Dr. Ron tried to kill her? Mad as a balloon. We don't want that life for you.
Eric and Heidi come to the barrel, which is where Jay and... If people are going out for dinner or drinks, just assume it's at the barrel. It has yet to be any other location. So Eric and Heidi walk in, and Jay is like, I thought that he wasn't working today, so like I thought I wouldn't have to see him. And Mahandra's like, well, he does still live here. Jay tells Mahandra that seeing Eric and Heidi together is like absolutely breaking her heart. She is not handling this well.
I didn't think it would hurt so much. Seeing him with her in wedded bliss without me. Oh my God. He's gonna grow old with her, isn't he? And I'm gonna die alone. Oh, will you die alone with me?
Of course I will. Who else am I gonna die alone with? Your brother? I mean, I can't think of any examples, actually.
Do you like my brother?
No, God, no.
I really liked this moment between Jay and Mahandra because remember, they've been friends for so long. Seeing them be so there for each other was like really great. I think especially compared to the episode before where they were fighting Barrel Bear. Like it was so nice to see them be so close and Mahandra just absolutely being there for Jay and also not really knowing what's going on, just knowing that Jay is going through something and being there for her. Karen sees Eric and I just want to say, so anytime I have to say Eric's name with other people in the Tyler family, it really makes me aware of how much I say Eric versus some people who say Eric, because I'm saying like Aaron and Eric when it could be saying Aaron and Eric. Anyway, so Karen sees Eric and asks him if he knows what's going on with Jay because she suddenly changed and seems so upset about something. And does Eric have any idea why she's so upset? And Eric says that he has no idea.
She won't discuss it with me, and Mahandra's not saying a word, so that leaves you. What do you say? You want to be my hero?
How upset is she exactly?
I'll tell you how upset she is if you tell me what she's upset about.
I wish I knew.
Heidi goes to the back room of the barrel to confront Jay, telling her to stay away from Eric, and that she and Eric are moving back to New Jersey immediately because he chose Heidi, not Jay. But then Eric says that, like, he gave 2 weeks notice rather than quitting immediately because, like, his boss did give him a place to stay and a job right away. So, like, the least he could do was give it 2 weeks notice so they could find somebody new. So they're going to be in town for another 2 weeks. Behind Heidi, there's this little bunny on a box of, like, cocktail cherries, and it says to save him from her. Jay takes this to mean save Eric from Heidi.
If you make trouble for us, I will make trouble for you.
Bitch, are you threatening her?
Yes, I believe I am.
Save him from her. What'd you just say? Save him from her.
You heard me.
Aaron is once again trying to talk to all of the animals. He's, like, really trying to, like, get them to say something to him. Why are they talking to Jay and not him?
Okay, I'll ask you one more time. Where's the monkey? Did he walk away? Can he walk away? Are you guys ambulatory?
Which actually I'm going to put in a clip right here of one of the special features where they talk about, like, animating and creating the animals here. Just kidding, the channel that this was on was also terminated and my DVD player isn't working right now. So just know it's there somewhere. Mahandra tells Aaron that she doesn't want to lie to Jay, especially when Jay's going through so much right now. She sees all the cameras in Aaron's room and is like, "Were you recording me?" And he says no, and that no one will ever know about them. Jay comes in, seeing Aaron with all the animals, and Mahandra hides in the closet. Aaron tells Jay that she's acting weird, and that's when Mahandra enters the room again and says that Jay isn't acting weird, she's heartbroken, don't call her weird. Meanwhile, Jay is like, when did you get in here? Jay brings all of the animals back to her trailer, and they won't tell her anything. They're not saying anything, but they say that the monkey will tell her everything. Which also brings up an interesting thing that we haven't seen before. These animals have a connection, like, to each other. We did see earlier in the episode that the multiple wax lions were talking at the same time, but this is some of the animals referencing other ones and saying, like, talk to this person, not us.
Following your instructions regarding Eric and Heidi causes me great pain.
Save him from her.
Why make me make a home if you're just gonna make me break a home? Is this a trick? Is this gonna turn out badly for me somehow?
Ask the monkey.
And I thought that was so interesting. That would be something really interesting to continue exploring. Jay sneaks into Dr. Ron's office, and the monkey says that she's going to kill him. So now it's not just to save him from her, it's she has to save somebody's life. And she still assumes that this means Eric.
They told me I had to save him from her, and the wax lion said the monkey would tell me why.
She's going to kill him.
She's gonna kill him?
She's going to kill him. She's going to kill him, and it's all because of you.
Jay and Mahandra do some internet sleuthing about Heidi and to see if there's anything in her background that could make her more likely to kill Eric and if there's any sort of thing that she can figure out. I like this part because Jay has this, like, Apple laptop, and I just love the era of the early 2000s Macs. They find out that multiple times in Heidi's undergrad, there were multiple poisonings that happened, and every time Heidi was quoted as saying that it was retaliation from hazing. And so Jay is like, oh, she's probably going to poison him and blame it on somebody else.
The debate team suffered a staggering loss, blah, blah, blah. Senior Heidi Sockett, who was suspended from the team, suggested the incident may have been the work of freshmen retaliating against their tormentors in a recent spate of hazing rituals.
It's her MO. If she can't win, then nobody can win. We have to save him from her. That's our mission.
You don't really think Heidi's gonna murder her husband because of you?
Oh, but she is. And it is because of me. Because the anonymous tipper said so.
Even though Jay claims that she's not spying on Eric and Heidi, she is spying on them. She's taking pictures of Heidi outside in this one moment when Heidi gives some money to somebody and he exchanges that for some pills. So that's when Jay is like, oh, she's absolutely going to kill him. Jay sent the pictures to be printed, but when Mahandra went to pick it up, she says that somebody else got there first. making Jay suspect that Heidi is onto them. And Mahendra is like, what do you mean onto us? Like, what is happening right now? Heidi breaks into Jay's trailer, which also, this is multiple times now that somebody's been able to break into Jay's trailer. We have Heidi in this episode, Pat in one of the previous episodes, and I feel like it's happened before. So a combination of Jay's trailer constantly being broken into and her car always having something wrong. I don't know, that was just something that I noticed. So Heidi is looking around the trailer and Karen knocks on the door outside. Karen is getting like really concerned now about how Jay isn't really talking to her, and she knows that something is wrong, but she can't figure out what, and Jay isn't saying what. She also feels like maybe she's the one who's pushing Jay away, and that's why Jay isn't talking to her. She, through the door, says all of this, and also says that when she went to go pick up some pictures, they accidentally gave her Jay's as well. So she slides him under the door and is like, if you don't want to talk to me, like, I am here if you want to talk. She says that she didn't look at the pictures because she wanted to give Jay that privacy, but Heidi does not feel the same. Heidi looks at the pictures. Dr. Ron watches these recordings, which actually, let me pause for a second. I can understand why cameras would be in a psychiatrist's office, like from like a safety standpoint or anything like that. But does Jay know that she's being recorded in a way that Dr. Ron can watch back what she said and what she did? We have a lot of tapes about the Tyler family. Like, a lot. Did Jay or Karen or anybody consent to this? But anyway, Dr. Ron is watching the recordings of Jay sneaking in, and he's wondering, save who from her? Save him from who? He doesn't know. Heidi confronts Jay about the pictures, and she says that Jay will never see Eric again. The lion tells her not to let Heidi leave, and so Jay tackles her.
She's going to kill him.
I know! You're never gonna see Eric again.
She's going to kill him. Don't let her leave.
And they're interrupted when a police officer comes in, taking Jay back to the station. Sharon, this time, decides that she can be Jay's lawyer, or at least defending her in this moment. The police officer asks Jay about Dr. Ron, and Sharon is really, like, on that thin line between lawyer and sister. The officer says that Jay broke into the office, disabled the security system, and took all of her tapes, and Jay is like, no, Heidi must have set me up. We see Heidi add a pill to a pill box just before waking Eric up. At this point, Jay's getting really frantic about Heidi killing Eric. She's like, I need to save him. Like, I was told I need to save him. Heidi's going to poison him. And this was the moment when I started thinking to myself, like, is this real? Like, is this episode canonically real? Or is this going to be one of those where, like, she wakes up at the end of it and not like things are back to normal, but things are back to before this episode. The animals are still talking to her. I was thinking that maybe like at the end of that whole like nightmare sequence, that maybe she like did something that she finally thought would be able to destroy the animals, and then she wakes up and they're talking to her again. And that's when she realizes that one, all of that was a nightmare, and also that she really can't do anything. Like, she cannot figure out what to do. I thought that would be really interesting. That's not what happened. Jay breaks into the hotel room and accuses Heidi of poisoning Eric, and at first he does start to feel really nervous, like he's feeling kind of sick. But then, when Heidi explains herself, Eric is like, Jay, I think it's best that you leave.
Listen to me. Heidi is trying to poison you. This is pathetic.
Heidi, what's she talking about?
She knows you still care about me, and she'd rather see you dead than in my arms. What?
I'm feeling a little woozy. Should I be alarmed?
It's a male potency drug. I switched it out with your one-a-days. I got it from a busboy at the Barrel. So you're not trying to kill him? You're just trying to...
I know what she was trying to do. We should probably go.
At this point, everybody is on their way to Dr. Ron's. Jay tells him that she didn't do any of the things that she was accused of. Karen is also on her way to Dr. Ron's in this whole like after hours elevator. And I'm also just wondering like, why is he here so late? And also, why does everybody know that he's here that late? But that's a whole other thing. Maybe there were conversations off camera. Karen is going in the elevator and somebody else joins her. We'll find out more about her in a second. Sharon also runs after them, but the door closes before she can get to them, which is also like exactly what happened in one of the previous episodes when Jay closes the door on Sharon.
Jay, wait a minute. Hold the door. Hold the door.
But Sharon is running after them, trying to tell Karen. But also, how does she know that Karen's here? I can either watch this again or choose to suspend my disbelief, and I think that just for the sake of finishing this video, I'm going to do the latter. Sharon is running after Karen, saying that the police are after Jay. Jay has also, like, run away. But the police are trying to find Jay. In the elevator, it's just Karen and this other woman. And after the two of them talk for a bit, Karen realizes that this is the person that earlier Darren was talking about who tried to kill Dr. Ron.
I'm Karen.
Angie.
Angie Olsen? That Olsen girl?
Angie something else.
Karen asks what's in Angie's bag, and we see a little, like, flash forwards-ish. Basically, an alternate sequence. Oh my gosh, a flash sideways. We see this alternate sequence of everything that's in Angie's bag and how she was going to kill Dr. Ron with it. The monkey keeps telling Jay to save him from her, and she's like, Eric's not in any danger, stop talking to me. But then the monkey tells her to lick the light switch, and she's like, why? Like, why are you wanting me to do this?
How about we discuss the why me, then I lick the light switch?
Lick the light switch first.
How do I know you're not lying to me right now?
Lick the light switch.
Whoa. The monkey says if she licks the light switch, then he'll tell her why they keep talking to her. And so she does, and it causes this whole like electric malfunction in the building. The elevator stops, all the lights are off, everything is shut down. And so Jay asks the monkey, why are you talking to me?
Tell me why you talk to me!
Because you listen.
And I thought that was so interesting that this is the reason that everything is happening, or maybe not the reason that everything's happening, but the reasoning behind it. I thought that was really interesting. And it also brings me back to Aaron is really, I just thought of this right now, like Aaron is really trying to get the animals to talk to him. It makes me wonder, well, one, would it not happen to him either way because he wasn't hit with that quarter in the first episode? He never had that sewed. But also, like, is Aaron dedicating so much of his time and his life and his studies and all that into the concept of being able to listen to these things, but not actually, like, you know what I mean? That's actually really interesting. Anyway, another thing that I thought was really funny in this moment was we see Sharon running up the stairs and she stops to smoke a cigarette. I don't think I've put in as many clips in this video as there are in the show. Sharon is constantly smoking. And people like have mentioned that to her, that she's always smoking. She runs up the stairs, stops to light a cigarette, and then continues running. And I thought in this moment my lungs could never. Sharon makes it to Dr. Ron's office just as they're about to arrest Jay, but we also see Karen is talking to Angie this whole time. And while Karen is wondering why Jay isn't talking to her, she's also now able to talk Angie down from hurting herself or hurting Dr. Ron. The two of them get to the office, and Dr. Ron is like, you're not allowed near me. And Karen's like, well, Angie has something that she wants to say. And Angie basically like admits to being the one who did everything that Jay was accused of, and also her plans to hurt Dr. Ron. And that's when both Jay and Dr. Ron realize that save him from her and she's going to kill him wasn't about Eric and Heidi. It was about Dr. Ron and Angie. And that's why Dr. Ron is now like, wait a second, maybe there was something there. Like, how did she know that? He also lets Jay keep the monkey because he's like, yeah, now, like, it's just a little weird to have it here. Jay goes to the barrel to both apologize and explain everything to Eric. But he tells her that Heidi went back to New Jersey and is currently trying to find an apartment, and when she finds it, he'll be going back with her.
3 weeks later.
Hello, welcome back. Or, well, welcome back to me. It's been a full month since I've worked on this. For you, it's been however long it took for me to go from one episode to another. So here's the thing. I've realized over the course of working on this channel that sometimes when writing about an episode gets a little more difficult, I really put it off. And also, I didn't necessarily want the show to end, so I also put off the last 2 episodes. I watched episode 12 probably a month ago and just didn't take any notes on it, and then figured I won't watch the finale until I finish writing episode 12. One of the things that was really on my mind when writing the summary for this episode is I think that we've already established that the way that Wonderfalls talks about certain people and certain communities is not necessarily how I would in present day if I was writing the show now. Something that has been talked about since the first episode is how Wonderfalls depicts Indigenous communities in the Niagara area. In this episode, we have a whole episode about that with a completely fictionalized community, which in some ways kind of just feels like an amalgamation of stereotypes. There are multiple moments that I just do not mention in here, so that is something that's on my mind during the summary for this episode. Also, completely unrelated, but before I start anything else, when I started working on this video a month ago, there was this one channel that had all of the episodes uploaded, and that's how I was able to download them and put them into this. It has since been deleted sometime within, I think it was like the past week or so, because I was still able to watch it earlier this month. The whole channel got taken down. I did download these episodes prior to that because I did not know it would be taking me this long to record everything. I wanted to give that channel a shout out, and now I don't remember who they were. So if you are the channel that uploaded all of these videos and then got your account terminated, I assume for copyright strikes, thank you for your work. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk about episode 12, which is called Totem Mole. The episode starts with Mahandra going to submit paperwork to prove tribal identity at the fictional Satsuma reservation. Sharon and Jay go with her, and while Mahandra and Sharon are away, Jay starts to hear this voice. A nearby totem pole tells Jay to go inside, and so she does.
Go on in. Go on. Be glad you did. Over there.
A woman tells Jay that she must have many questions, and she wants to know all the various voices, why they're speaking to her, and Jay's like, yes, I absolutely want to know. Like, what can you tell me? The woman tells Jay that she has been chosen for a reason, but there is a way to get rid of the voices. But Jay is interrupted by someone else coming in and being like, why are you talking to my dead grandmother?
Hi, we're sort of in the middle of something, so would you mind waiting outside until we're through?
What are you in the middle of?
We're having a conversation?
You're having a conversation with my dead grandmother?
The whole time, Jay has like truly felt like she was talking to a person, like there was a full conversation happening. But once that was said, she realizes that like, yes, the woman is not alive. This is new for Jay. She's only heard these voices coming from these animals, and now suddenly a dead person is talking to her. You already know what show this reminded me of.
I'm Superman. I've got a finger faster than a speeding bullet. Come on, who can I touch?
I forget if it was in the last episode or no, it was in the last episode when I said that Sharon smokes a lot. So she's using this opportunity to buy a huge carton of cigarettes, but they don't let her when Deanna Littlefoot, Sharon's law school rival, enters and tells them, no, don't sell anything to her.
I read in the alumni newspaper that you are practicing upstate with Kirshner Mackenzie now.
Very prestigious. I left Kirshner Mackenzie. Oh, you did? I was needed here. My people were being exploited, and there was no one looking out for their interests.
Good for you. And good for you, too. She is the best.
Sharon still wants those cigarettes, and so she's like, oh, well, Mahandra's here. Mahandra has the tribal identity, and Mahandra's like, I literally just put in the application, like, nothing's official yet. And so Deanna says that Mahandra's request is denied.
You poked a dead grandmother?
I didn't poke. I think it's best you and your friends leave, Tyler.
Not friends. Acquaintances. What about my application?
Denied. But if you care to contest, tribal court meets Thursday morning, 11 a.m. Hope you have a good lawyer.
While all that's happening, outside everyone's like, who is this random girl? Especially Bill, who was the woman's grandson. He's like, this is like particularly uncomfortable that a tourist can just come in and just be like in our space. Jay says that the woman spoke to her, and Jerry, who's also there, he's like, what do you mean she spoke to you?
Her spirit spoke to you? Gentle Feather was our seer, our spiritual guide. Voice of reason among many louder, more angry voices.
I'm very sorry for your loss, but could I maybe speak to the new seer person, the backup seer?
There isn't one.
She was talking to Jay, then like maybe she has some sort of spiritual connection. Jay is like, no, I'm not special, I don't have any spiritual connection. And the totem tells Jay to show him who's special. And she takes that as, oh, let me show Bill that he actually is special, that he actually does have those abilities. Jay has both Aaron and Bill come to Wonderfalls, and she shows Bill the Maid of the Mist video. Remember the one from like the very first episode? At this point for you, it's like 2 hours ago. Bill is like, why are you showing me this? Why are you showing me this video that we've discussed inaccurate portrayal and offensive? Jay is like, well, it's because you have to surrender to destiny. You have to like exactly what they said in the video, and his destiny being the next person in line to be the spiritual leader. And he's like, no, I put all of that aside. Jay and Aaron both tell him that a lot of people don't realize that they have a power until it's like really called on them. So that makes Bill reconsider. Also, something that didn't happen in any of the other episodes except for this one and the 13th episode. Casual use of the R word. At no point in the series, except for once in this episode and once in the next episode. There are multiple tests to see if Bill has the ability to communicate in a spiritual sense. The first one is if a feather lands on him. The feather goes right past Bill, takes a turn, and lands on Jay. Since the feather landed on her, it must mean that she had some sort of spiritual connection, and Jay is like, no, I don't.
But she said nothing about purposes or being chosen or anything like that.
But you were chosen.
Nope.
Her spirit chose to talk to you. You are Gentle Feather's successor.
No, I'm not. She never said that. I'm not a leader. I need a leader. I need a leader who can talk to dead grandma and find out how to lift a particular burden of mine. Besides, they don't want a white chick fighting their battles. It doesn't look good.
The second test is to see if Bill can identify one of Gentle Feather's items, and Bill has absolutely no idea because he wasn't close to his grandmother. But the bear skull tells Jay that's the one to choose that one, and so she tells Bill, go with that one.
Pick me! Pick me! Pick me! Me! Pick me!
The bear skull.
Yay! You got one right. I think we can all see who the new seer's gonna be.
It's very clear that Jay is the one who knew it. Aaron, in particular, is getting very skeptical. Jay is denying having any sort of gift, but Aaron's like, no, this is weird. The final test is for Bill to leave this world, communicate with his ancestors, and then come back. So he's out, and Jay's trying to bring him back to life. And Jerry is like, he was supposed to bring himself back. He wasn't supposed to be brought by somebody else. Bill is like, I communicated with my grandmother. He specifically says that his grandmother told him that it wasn't his time to go into the light. Because of this, Bill is now convinced that he can be the tribe's spiritual leader, and everyone else is like, how do we tell him that he's not? Deanna, Sharon, and Mahandra all return for Mahandra's tribal hearing, but a recently passed rule about the printing of birth certificates makes Mahandra ineligible, and that's before Sharon can even say a word.
The tribal certification hearing for Mahandra McGinty will now begin.
Your Honor, Point of order. In accordance with the new rule passed by Tribal Council last night, birth records may not be computer generated, abstracted, or transcribed. These are, and therefore, not admissible.
Motion granted.
Sharon tells Mahandra that she will fix this. Sharon goes to Deanna's gym, and the two of them start to get really competitive. I know I mentioned earlier that they were law school rivals, but they were like rivals, or at least Sharon saw them as rivals. Deanna is like, no, I'm above you. Sharon asks Deanna to not let Mahandra get in between the two of them's rivalry. The two go into a sauna. Sharon leaves mad and frustrated, leaving Deanna in the sauna.
Please do not make Mahandra McGinty suffer. She deserves a fair trial.
She had a fair trial. She just should have picked a better lawyer.
She doesn't realize this, but actually, oh, okay, I gotta go back. There's something that wasn't in my notes, but actually ended up being important. Jay takes a turquoise bracelet from the Wonderfalls store. She accidentally gets it stuck in Sharon's hair. Sharon then goes to the gym with the bracelet on. As she's leaving the sauna, the bracelet gets caught in the door. Sharon doesn't realize this, but now the door isn't able to be opened from the inside. Or from the outside, actually. So she puts the temperature of the sauna all the way up, and Deanna is stuck in there. While she's stuck in the sauna, Gentle Feather appears to Deanna and tells her that she has a lot to learn. We'll get back to that in a bit. Back at Wonderfalls, Bill brings a whole group of people and they do a sit-in saying that this store promotes offensive merchandise, and Jay is like, yes, but also you need to get people to leave. Jay tells Bill that he isn't the guy, he wasn't the one who passed the test. She thought that she was supposed to show him that he is special, but maybe she was supposed to show him that she's special. Mall security is called, but Bill refuses to leave. Actually, I wrote mall security, I guess more like plaza security. Bill refuses to leave, and he continues to tell Jay about all the offensive stuff that's in this store. The security person shoots Bill, and everyone is like, did he just die? But it wasn't a real bullet, it was a rubber pellet, and that's going to come back. You wouldn't think that would come back, but it does. That's when Bill realizes that, at first, for a moment, he also thought that he was going to the other side and that he came back, and then he finds out that it wasn't. It was just a rubber bullet, and he's like, oh, I'm not special. Which then leads me to possibly one of my favorite quotes. I feel like I need to make a list of my favorite quotes, but one of them is from Firebringer. I don't know if you all know Firebringer. If you watch my videos, then I just have a slight feeling that you may know Star Kid.
So, I'm not special? Oh, Tiblin. No.
But turns out none of us are. So Jay and Bill have this whole conversation about having a purpose in life and whether you want to have a purpose or whether you don't, and like whether that's good or not.
I wish I had great purpose.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You really don't. Having great purpose isn't all it's cracked up to be. I've had great purpose, and I've had no purpose, and I have to say no purpose is a lot easier. Expectations are low. Nobody asks you for anything. Count your blessings.
You'd really want to be me?
Yeah. Pathetic, isn't it?
We're both pathetic.
But at least you're pathetic with great purpose. I'm pathetic with no purpose.
Deanna has gotten out of the sauna and she returns to the reservation. She tells everybody that Gentlefeather spoke to her. She also tells Bill that Gentlefeather told her that Bill's purpose is to be... Bill's an accountant.
I'd love to be just an accountant. Well, maybe not an accountant, but something a little more interesting to me.
Bill's purpose is to be the tribe's accountant so they can open a casino. Jay then comes to the conclusion that, well, she thought that this, like the voices and all that was a burden. Maybe it's not as much of a burden as she thought because it seems to be helping other people. Other people seem to be getting value from it. Maybe it's not as much of a burden as she originally thought. Maybe it is more of a purpose. So thoughts on this episode. I do have some mixed feelings about the placement of this episode. There's two things. There's reasons why this is the perfect place for it and reasons why it's not. I think that it definitely takes an entire season almost for Jay to realize that this thing that she's had may actually be for a good reason. That's something that we learn at the end of the last episode. They speak to her because she listens. And also in this episode, realizing that listening to these voices, like it's something that can help other people. And that's not something that you can get from like an episode 2 or an episode 3. That is something that has to be later on in the show. But at the same time, I do think that the previous episode was so high stakes, even though like season-long arc, this definitely was the best place for it. It was just a really big tonal shift between the previous episode and this one. The last episode is also very emotionally high stakes, and you know what? Let's talk about it. So, okay, something that I really like to do in these videos is have like something be in the background that you may not notice until the end. I think probably my best example of that was during the video for Fakes, the whole changing shirt thing. I'm still very proud of that, but anyway, I have to say it right now because over the course of recording this, I was like, oh, I kind of wish I didn't start this. One of the reasons why is because I realized that getting to this final episode, a 13th animal to add there, all I had was this giant panda. And that would have been... I could, but see, like, it doesn't really fit. But I don't know. Let me tell you guys something. I clearly have a lot of stuffed animals, and I frequently find some that I don't remember getting. So we're gonna add this panda instead. I know that in my heart there's a giant panda stuffed animal on my desk. But until then, here's a collection of inanimate animals. Inanimate animals. Inanimate animals. They are not currently speaking to me. So, you know, that is a tongue twister. Inanimate animals. I feel like I've probably, like, said it already. Okay, let's just go to episode 13. Episode 13, the final episode, and I just want to say I really liked this episode. I think it was a great season finale, but I also think it was just a good episode in general. So we're at Wonderfalls, and a kid is stealing some small items. They're watching this kid steal some, like, small things. He ends up only taking a Slinky. And Jay is like, no, like, we should, like, wait to see if he steals anything else. But the security guy is like, no, like, we should go after him. But a caged bird decoration tells Jay to let him go. And so she's like, you know what? We should let him go.
Let him go.
Eric stops by Wonderfalls to buy some souvenirs, and he tells Jay that he's officially leaving today. And that's why he's buying all these souvenirs, so he can remember when he's not there, because that's what souvenirs are for.
I didn't expect to see you here. Buying souvenirs? Isn't that what people do when they want to remember a place they're not?
I'm leaving today. This was all sort of inevitable, right? Me going back to Jersey? I mean, it is what it is, right?
The bird again talks to Jay and tells her to let him go and to say that she's happy. So she says, I think like this is for the best. It's good that you're leaving and I am happy. She's not happy. She's not happy at all. Eric goes back to the barrel because he has some mail that he's expecting because he's been living there. And Mahendra is mad that he's leaving. Like, obviously she's Team Jay.
You don't seem mad, but mad words are coming out of your mouth.
Well, what kind of words do you expect? You're acting like you can't wait to get out of here. We can't.
Heidi, on the other hand, very happy that they're leaving. She never wants to see Jay again. I don't think she ever wants to hear the words Niagara Falls ever again. Aaron is also at the barrel. Everyone is always at the barrel. Aaron is there and he waves Mahendra over and is like, hey, like, my parents are having an anniversary party tonight. Do you want to go with me as a date? And she's like, no, like, we cannot tell anybody that we're dating. He also tries to kiss her and she's like, no, not here. Heidi overhears all of this. Back in Wonderfalls, the barrel bear, from earlier, tells Jay to give him heart. And she has no idea what that means. Sharon comes to Wonderfalls to ask Jay about her opinion for anniversary gifts, and Jay is very distracted. She's not paying a ton of attention because she just said her goodbye to Eric, and it wasn't even really a goodbye. Like, she's heartbroken.
I know there's that whole clause about letting somebody go and what it means if they come back and blah blah blah. But I already told him not to come back, fairly definitively. But what I really wanted to tell him was not to go.
Sharon brings Jay to the manager's office so the two of them can talk. And Jay is like, no, like, I'm like really sad. I'm not over him. And Sharon's like, if you're in love with him, like, you should call him. Like, is he gone? And Jay's like, well, he's like leaving. But Sharon's like, well, he's not gone yet, so you should call him.
You are in love. Don't make fun of me. Do you love him? Yes. Is he gone? He's going. Is he gone? Is he?
And so Jay calls the barrel, and Eric picks up the phone. She says that she wants to do a proper goodbye, so he should come by her trailer, and they can meet there. He says that once he figures out a way to get away from Heidi, he'll be right over. I just realized I completely skipped past something, and in my notes, I said, remember the guy who was asking about the store layout? There was a guy who came in and was really asking about, like, where exits were in the stores and, like, what the store leads to. There's a reason why he was asking that. He has a gun. Earlier in the day, he robbed a bank, and now he is in Wonderfalls. He gets Alec to... I completely forgot about Alec until I was editing this, and I was like, oh, I forgot about him. Sorry to the actor who plays Alec.
Sorry to this man.
So at that point, everybody who's in the store is Alec, security guy, Jay, who has just left the office to, like, go after Eric, and the guy's like, you're not leaving. Is anybody else here? Sharon is still in the office on the phone because she's trying to reserve the anniversary gift. She leaves the office and walks into the middle of a hostage situation.
Get on the phone.
Oh, God.
Who else is in here?
Give him heart.
Okay.
So let me just say here, I knew the basic summary of this episode early on. I knew that the ending would be a hostage situation because is that on the episode summary? Hold on. I conveniently have this right next to me. The summary for the final episode is, a bank robber takes the store workers at Wonderfalls hostage just as Jay and Eric are supposed to meet and say their final goodbyes. So I knew that this was the plot, but at the same time, finding out about the plot early on in the series, when everything is pretty lighthearted, I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, that seems kind of dark comparatively, but, like, how high would those emotional stakes be? Then after seeing episode 11...
Tell me why you talk to me!
This could actually be very dark. Even just compared to the last episode, we talked about the security guard shooting Bill, but it was with rubber pellets, it wasn't with a gun. In this episode, he has an actual gun. Not the security guard guy. The bank robber guy has an actual gun. So we have Jay, Alec, Sharon, and the security guy, all as hostages with this bank robber guy. Alec is the assistant store manager, so he's the one that would have access to the keys and all that, but he doesn't have that power yet. The security guy also doesn't have any of the information. He hasn't been told all the codes yet. So the bank robber is like, I am in this building where the front is just all windows and nobody here knows how to get me out. But also there's a bunch of police officers that are outside and they are not paying any attention to this. The security guard realizes that this is the gunman from the bank robbery earlier, and Sharon, lawyer, says that there's felonies, as in like robbing a bank, and then there's felonies that are like holding people hostage. A bank robbery, she says, you might be able to get some jury sympathy depending on how you spin it. Holding people hostage, juries are very against that.
Robber.
So, armed robbery. A felony. But still, there are felonies and then there are felonies, right? As an attorney at law, may I give you some professional advice? There are all kinds of reasons why a jury might sympathize with robbery, but hostage taking, that might turn out to be ugly.
This also led to, in the scene, one of my favorite lines of the episode, so I'm going to put it in here.
Oh, please, don't kill me. I can't die. I've never been with a woman.
You.
I have been with a woman.
The guy tells everybody to give him all their phones, any sort of weapon, anything like that. And at first, Sharon isn't giving her whole bag away. He goes into the bag and realizes that she has a stun gun, so he takes that as well. Back at the barrel, Eric tells Mahandra, like, can you keep Heidi occupied for a little bit? And Mahandra's like, what do I have to say to Heidi right now? And Heidi is also like, what do I have to say to you?
You know, we never really got a chance to get to know each other.
You're not proposing we do that now, are you? Because we don't like each other.
Yeah, I know.
Heidi asks Mahandra, like, is he just going over there for a bit, or are they running away together? And Mahandra's like, I truly do not know what's going on. Like, I have absolutely no idea what's happening there. They get to talking about Mahandra's relationship with Aaron, and Heidi is like, there's a guy who likes you, who very clearly likes you, and there is no doubt about it. You are pushing him away. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get my husband to like me, basically Mahandra go after Aaron. So there's a recurring joke in this episode that the security guard wants to be a police officer. He was rejected from the police academy, and none of the police officers take him seriously. Sharon somehow got the stun gun back, and she stuns the guy with it, making his gun fall on the floor, and Jay tells the security guard, take the gun, but he freezes. Alec turns on the TV, and they see the guy's they see the sketch of the guy on the news, so police are looking for him. Eric originally went to Jay's trailer, like she said, but she wasn't there, so he went to Wonderfalls, and the gunman is like, get him out of here. So Jay is like, you need to leave, goodbye, this is it, and Eric is like, no, like, what about like the proper goodbye and all that?
Can we talk later?
Actually, no, we can't. You were right. I'm not happy, you're not happy, and I was thinking, maybe we're not happy about the same thing.
Oh, I'm happy. Happy as a clam. I was just in a funk before. I'm moody that way. Thanks for stopping by, though.
Oh, so, what, is this closure?
It'll have to do.
He's not leaving. Jay basically calls him out for leaving Heidi, and like, what kind of guy would do that? Very much a personality change, and like, we can see it too. We can see it on her face, but I feel like also there's like a slight like camera change too. Like, it's very jarring to suddenly see her talk to Eric like this.
Where does Heidi think you are right now? I don't know which one of you is more pathetic.
On the news, they're talking about this guy who robbed the bank and that he shot the security officer, which is making this security officer a little nervous. How he shot the security officer and they died at the hospital, or they died in surgery or something like that. So now this guy's like, wait a second, like, I'm not going to be charged for murder because, like, I didn't mean to kill him. And Sharon is like, that's murder. This whole time the security guard is like, this is my fault that we're in this situation. And Jay is trying to get him to, like, not be like that. So she tells him not to do anything, and they'll figure out a plan, but for him not to do anything, like, drastic specifically. But the bird says to let him go, so she doesn't stop him. The four of them figure out this plan of, like, how they're going to get out of it, and hours pass. We also get a split screen. Jay is trying to convince the gunman that she's going to be able to get him out of there. They have enough stuff in the store that he could disguise himself. And while he's focused on Jay, Sharon takes, like, a decorative oar, like, for rowing. You know those. So she throws one to the security guard, which at no point did I get the guy's name. I just realized at no point did I get his name. We're pretty far into this. So she throws the oar to him so he can hit the gunman in the back of the head, but he falls back. He doesn't have a pulse. He's not breathing. I know everybody likes to talk about what shows have the worst depictions of CPR and what shows have the best depiction of CPR. I think that this may be the new top of the list for worst CPR I've ever seen that I've ever seen on TV.
I did not touch him!
Is he breathing? No. Pulse?
Not that I'm aware of. I am not responsible for his death. I am not a double homicide guy.
Good Trick is to pump to the tune of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Do you know that song?
Yes, I do. I love that song. First I was afraid, I was petrified.
At least they have somebody doing chest compressions and somebody doing mouth to mouth. But Jay's attempt at like the compressions, I'm just gonna put in the clip here.
Police, they want to talk to you.
At this point, police are now surrounding the store, and everybody's watching this on the news, including the Tylers, who were waiting for everybody else to come home. Also at the barrel, Mahendra and Heidi are watching this, and everybody's realizing, like, Jay is in there. Mahendra leaves, but Heidi is still at the bar, and she's watching the news, and they say that the reason that the police knew to, like, go to Wonderfalls is because a friend of an employee there, Eric, called the police and said that there was something suspicious.
Attention of police by a friend of one of the hostages, Eric Gotts. He's with me now. Mr. Gotts, what prompted you to go to police? Did you see the gunman?
No,
Did your friend say something clever and cryptic?
I just knew something was wrong. I came by to say goodbye, but she wouldn't let me do it. And when you care about somebody, even if she's upset with him, you let him at least have that.
He says that he was not told anything directly. He wasn't told, like, hey, there's a problem, call the police. But that Jay's demeanor changed so much, he knew that something was wrong just based on that. After seeing that, Heidi leaves the bar and goes towards Wonderfalls. We haven't heard from the iguana in a bit, so the iguana is back, and it tells Jay to let him go, and also how to get him out.
Be quiet, he's dying.
Let him go.
I can't, his heart just... Oh my God, give him heart. It's my fault.
There's a hidden door in the bathroom. Let him go.
There's a hidden door in the bathroom.
I thought that this was really interesting because this is the first time that we've really heard, like, a full sentence from any of the muses. Like, yes, we hear, like, the do this thing, do that. And I guess we heard in episode 11, like, the communication. But anyway, hearing this sentence was really jarring. I was not expecting the iguana to speak like that. He says that, like, okay, but she's going with him. So the two of them escape out of the back. Meanwhile, Sharon can leave through the front and is like, somebody, like, get an ambulance, because the security guard guy, like, he's not breathing. And now the person who was giving the bad chest compressions is gone.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance!
Behind Wonderfalls, the gunman, who also I don't have the name of. Anyway, they take a car. Somebody is, like, nearby with the car, and he's like, give me the car. And so Jay is in there too, and Jay's like, are you gonna let me go? And he's like, at this point, like, no, like, I can't just let you go. He is reversing the car so fast that he doesn't even realize that another car is driving right towards them. So they crash. Guess who's driving that car? Heidi. The gunman goes over to Heidi's car first, and Heidi's very mad at Jay because, yes, we've established that Heidi is mad at Jay. The gunman goes over to Heidi's car and is like, get out of the car. He has the gun in his hand. He's like, get out of the car. And while that's happening, the ambulance drives by, just hitting the gunman. Heidi and Jay are okay.
Call an ambulance! But not for me!
No, something that happened that I completely forgot. Actually, no, let me go back, because I was just so excited to give the whole, like, rest of the plot that I completely forgot a very funny moment. Sharon, after Jay is gone, takes that stun gun, and you know, like the paddles in a hospital, that bring the electricity back to the heart. She takes the stun gun and stuns the guy back. And then that's when she calls for an ambulance. I really liked that. After that, everything happens so fast. Like, I'm pretty sure this is, like, under 30 seconds. In front of Wonderfalls, everybody's waiting. The Tyler family, Mahendra, all of them. And Jay is with her family, and Mahendra's off to the side, and she's like, I will start crying if I go over and hug her right now. And this... So here's what happens over here. Aaron is talking to Mahendra, and he's like, no, like, we can go over there. And Mahendra's like, no, like, I was genuinely, like, so scared about Jay. I think that also just in the back of her head, the conversation with Heidi as well, they're being like, there's this guy who likes you and you're pushing him away. She does not push him away. They kiss. Meanwhile, the rest of the Tyler family sees this happen, and they're all like, when did that become a thing? Jay sees Eric talking to Heidi, and the two of them leave together. And here's the thing. Now, this isn't a spoiler. This is literally the next scene. I thought that based on the discussions that I've seen about this show, a lot of people were saying, like, Eric is going to leave with Heidi and leave Jay, and that's going to become a whole thing. So I guess if the episode ends here, then yeah, it seems like Eric is leaving with Heidi. Literally the next scene, he comes back. Eric goes back to Wonderfalls to return all the souvenirs that he got earlier. And Jay is like, why are you returning these? And he says that souvenirs are meant to remind you of a place where you are not. And he is staying in Niagara Falls. He is officially a resident there. He's not leaving, and he's single. Jay is like, what happened to Heidi? He says they officially broke up. She knows that he's staying in Niagara.
Well, what about your wife? Where's she?
My ex-wife, she's recovering at a spa. I went with her to get her settled, but then I moved out. It was inevitable. Everything that had to happen, happened. Heidi said so herself.
At this point, I had already put that lost quote earlier on in this video before watching this, and I thought to myself, wow, that is actually like the perfect quote for this.
What if everything that happened here happened for a reason?
So Eric tells Jay that he's staying in Niagara, and the two of them kiss. And that's the end. Okay, I think I have room on my phone to finish this. Let's hope. The creators of Wonderfalls said that even though, yes, they would have liked the show to go on for more seasons, this was intended to be a complete storyline. And I really see that. I think that the end of the 13th episode is a great conclusion. There are other shows that I've talked about on this channel where thinking like The Society, where watch my video on The Society, in the final moment of The Society, like our perception of everything changes. I'm not going to spoil it. Go watch the video. Or in Willow, in the final moment, we see that a book has closed, but it's the first of 3 books. So you're like, what happens after that? I think that while even though I would have loved to see more of this, I want to know more about the characters. I want to see how the various relationships go. I want to see how Jay responds to the animals more. I think that this is one of the best conclusions for the shows that I've talked about here. But before its cancellation, there were discussions about what storylines they would like to have on a future season. And all of those are discussed on the DVD in one of the special features. Which one is it? Okay, yeah, at the end of disc 1, there's a Greetings from Wonderfalls documentary, and I believe that is the one where they talk about future episodes. These are also on the show's Wikipedia page. I know I've mentioned this for other shows on this channel, but the fan campaign for Wonderfalls really was instrumental in getting this show out. For example, a blog called Save Wonderfalls was really pushing for a DVD release and for another network to pick up the rest of the series. The website's a little hard to navigate now, but I posted some screenshots. One of those storylines would be Dr. Ron publishing everything about his appointments with Jay, all those sessions. Remember how he had like a ton of tapes, both for Jay but also for Karen? In this future storyline, Dr. Ron would publish all of that, and it would end up with Jay being put into a psych hospital. The storyline would be how she affects the people around there. I don't have this written down here, but I also think that they like mentioned somewhere that oh my god, what is his name? The kid from episode 7 or 8? Why am I forgetting his name?
We're looking for Peter Johnson.
I'm Peter Johnson.
There were also talks about having him come back to be a larger role in a future season. I think that if they were going to have a storyline where Jay was in psych, I have a lot of questions about how that would go. Like, how would that be a season-long thing? Or would it just be a couple episodes? Like, how long would she be in there? And how would the muses still talk to her in that sort of situation? It would be cool to see, like, a different environment. But also, I would just have some questions about where they would go from there. There also was going to be an accidental pregnancy storyline involving Sharon. And I really see how they opened the door up for this. But so, okay, Sharon would have slept with Beth, her girlfriend. But Beth would have recently have slept with Thomas, and somehow Sharon would end up pregnant, which makes no sense, but you know what? Sure. Sure. I think that the last episode where we have Beth and Thomas, I think it really seems like there was just something going on with them before Sharon comes in. So I think that maybe that scene, well, first was being part of the Sharon relationship arc, but also would have been the like, oh, this accidental pregnancy happened when? Oh, that exact moment. So it'd be a callback to then. It's just one of those things where like I read it and I was like, oh, okay. Another storyline that they were proposing was a new wax lion who didn't have the messed up face like the other ones were, would tell Jay instructions that were the opposite of what the other animals did. So then Jay would have to decide like who is she going to listen to. And I think that that would also be really interesting to dive more into, because by the end of the season, Jay has really she's listening to these animals, but also figuring out like what the repercussions of certain things would be. She's really starting to become more in tune to that. So I think it would be interesting to have somebody basically telling her to do the opposite thing, especially because when so often the animals tell her to do the thing that she doesn't want to do. So now somebody's saying the things that she does want to do. Who will she listen to? I think that would be really interesting, and that would definitely be like a second season edition. Now, okay, I'm gonna put this aside so we can really talk. Want to know what I would love to see with Wonderfalls? These kind of things are really hit or miss with me, but I would have loved to see a musical episode. I know what so many of you are thinking. Actually, half of you are probably thinking, like, yeah, that sounds great. The other half are saying, no, I do not want a musical episode. But out of every show that has tried to do a musical episode, doesn't Wonderfalls feel like it would work? I feel like a musical episode would work so well with Wonderfalls. And maybe if they're going to incorporate new animals who tell her to do all certain things, maybe there's ones that sing. Maybe there's ones that sing. And, like, would the people sing too? That, I don't know. That I haven't decided. But I think that a musical episode would work so well with a show like this. Like, there are some shows where you do not want them to do a musical episode. And there are other shows that do a musical episode and you're like, okay, I didn't like this when I first watched it, but now I'm kind of okay with it.
You say we need to talk, he walks. You say sit down, it's just a talk.
But anyway, that is my big idea for if we bring back Wonderfalls for a season 2, let me work on the musical episode. I would have so much fun. Is it original music? Is it covers? That, I don't know. That is something to be decided later. So, okay, final thoughts on the show. Once again, I didn't write anything down for this part. I'm really glad that I watched this show because it has been, as I mentioned, on my radar for a really long time. I think like it has been years at this point since I first heard of Wonderfalls. I was looking at my YouTube history and I think the first time that I started to watch the pilot was in like 2024 or 2023 or something like that. It has been a while since I have known about the show and wanted to watch it, so I'm glad that I did. I think that while there were a lot of episodes that didn't completely sit with me the right way, and while I don't want to give the excuse of, oh, it was a different time, because anytime people say that, I'm like, okay. But anyway, I think that the episodes in the show that I really liked. I think that the season finale, I loved that. I loved every minute of that. Worst CPR I've ever seen. I think that might be like my favorite episode of the series. Audibly gasping, audibly laughing, all of that. Like, I was so into the finale. And there were other episodes here and there that I really liked too. I generally, I would say, really liked the show. But the parts of the show that I really liked the characters, the relationships. I really liked the incorporation of this like whimsical feature. I thought that was really cool. I want to know more about all the characters. I really like, there are no characters that I dislike on this show. So, okay, that I think is Wonderfalls. Well, that is Wonderfalls. I think that's really all I have to say. There probably is still somewhere online that you could watch it, but if not, you can get these DVDs. I wish I had like an Amazon link. I'd be like, buy the DVDs using the code in my bio. I know this is probably the longest video that I've made. I really appreciate all the viewing, all the commenting. I love reading the comments that people put on here. I know that within the last video that I posted and now, YouTube has this new thing called like hyping up videos. And so if you hype it like when it has like recently been posted, then it gets promoted a little more. I am very excited for future plans for this channel. I originally was working on one during this whole break and I decided to take a moment and maybe I'll go back to that one. I don't know. Considering it. Or also before that, I'm thinking maybe doing another show that is a lot shorter. So that is what I think I have next. Yay! Thank you guys for watching. Oh, this was so fun. I miss doing this. Okay, bye!